This story begins on the tracks of a train, where we meet our protagonist, a university student named Lun, who keeps watching a surreal, certain purple-haired girl named Shennai for the moment. Our protagonist will not know her name. Later, she will mention it to him. Leun tells us that he always sees this girl on the train tracks. Like every day at this time, he always finds her here several times with different styles of clothing. And as usual, she and he take the train at this time of midnight. The meeting of both on these tracks is like a routine. A few minutes pass, and our protagonist does not exchange a single word with her. Seeing the instrument that she carries with her, he wonders if that girl studies music, or maybe she is in a band. The girl instantly realizes that he was watching her. They both made eye contact. He was so lost in his thoughts that he kept staring at her. Although they both often meet here, he is the only one aware of it. He knows that things like these are just coincidence. It is not destiny, since he cannot concentrate on his reading. He will hear some music, maybe he will hear his favorite music, Darker Planet by Long Afternoon. When playing the music, starts listening to it. The introduction of this song is the best, no matter how many times I've heard it. The first verse is also too good. Despite being a great song, almost no one knows it. I wish I had someone to talk to about this song. Every afternoon, he thinks. But it's strange, the music is too low. Surely the Bluetooth headphones have been damaged. He turns up the volume to the maximum level. At that moment, Shennai interrupts him. This surprises our protagonist. He asks her what's wrong. She asked him to lower the volume of his phone, since she can hear everything from her bench. Instantly, the protagonist realizes that his headphones were disconnected from his phone. Having heard that music, she asked the protagonist if he likes that song. She also likes the band Long Afternoon Lejeune. Upon hearing this, gets excited to know that this girl also likes the same band that he listens to. It was simply great. Since he is a big fan of the author of this song, he can't believe that. He has found someone with the same tastes. She also assumes the music is really good. Unfortunately, he is an independent singer without too many fans. He also knows that surely it doesn't fit in with the current trend of not promoting and communicating too much on the networks. The protagonist confirms the same. If only the singer did a concert, videos would be made and it would be spread everywhere. But he doesn't do any of that. He only has drawings of his original character. You can, on Instagram, if he would post photos of his daily life, or his face would have more fans. Shennai listens to this and asks him if he really thinks it's right for the singer to show their face. The protagonist answers no, not necessarily. He, being a fan of the singer, would like to meet him in person and is curious to know what he's like. But it's also good just seeing how he lives the way he likes. It's good that the singer concentrates on creating and not doing anything else. The mystery he has is not bad at all. Of course, he likes the singer as he is. Shennai mentions that both have been meeting several times in this place. The protagonist, somewhat nervous, answers that he is not very sure. He should pretend that he has not seen her before, or otherwise she will know that he has been watching her. The train arrives at the tracks. Shennai tells him that she had seen him before, since she always saw him staring at her as she writes. These words were like gunshots to the chest of the protagonist. It is impossible. She knows that he has been seeing her all this time, and even that, both have taken the same train. The next day he gets hysterical at work. He feels was condemned. His 39-year-old boss named UYU asked him what happened. Did they get a low rating as a business? The protagonist asked his boss for advice. What would happen if they take him as a stalker or a pervert? The boss does not understand what all this is. About a few minutes later, she understands the situation of our protagonist. She answers that it is nothing. It only means that the girl also knew about the existence of our protagonist. Leun mentions that he is worried about seeing her scared if she thinks that he is a pervert. Surely she will not continue going to the same station. The boss tells him that if that happened, that girl would have already done it a long time ago. If he is too worried, he should talk to that girl appropriately. Next time, then our protagonist will know exactly how she feels. Who knows? Maybe there could even be a romance between both. For the protagonist, that would be going too much. The boss asks him why not. He has already seen her several times. There would be nothing wrong if it were to happen. That is true, but the kind of feelings that his boss is talking about are not the ones that our protagonist has. He isn't in the position that someone likes him. He is busy with next year's graduation. He is preparing to work and needs to earn money for rent. He was just curious about that girl. Since he had seen her often, he wants to ask her who she is or what she does. The boss mentions to him that usually romance starts. That way the protagonist answers that it is not like that. He would feel satisfied if both could only be friends. Friends with whom he can talk about his musical tastes and other things. The boss repeats it to him again. As she had told him before, that is how relationships begin. The protagonist tells her that that is not true. The boss tells him that they have already talked enough, they have to get to work. There was an order to deliver, and they stay working until midnight. When they finish work, the protagonist wonders if that girl will take the last train as usual. If he sees her the day today, he apologizes to her for having seen her behind her back. He wants to clarify things so that she does not think that he is a weirdo. And he also wants to have an intense talk about long afternoon with her. It is difficult to find someone who has the same musical taste as him. He only wants her to think the same way. But when he reaches the train stops, he finds a homeless man sleeping on the seat. He finds it annoying. Since that is the seat where he always sits now, he will not be able to be close to her, to be able to start a casual conversation. Since it is inevitable, just for today, he will study standing up. It is strange to force a conversation. After all, he does not want to cause misunderstandings, but he does not want to get away from her either. Just for today, he will pass by. Without saying anything at that moment, she asks him if he will stay standing to wait for the train there. Is still time for the train to arrive. Our protagonist answers her that there are no more seats. She mentions that that is not true, there is. To space next to her, he can sit freely, without problems only, until the last train arrives. The protagonist thinks about it for a moment. He remembers that a long time ago, another girl also did the same thing. So that both became closer. It brings him a bad feeling, but that's already a thing of the past right now. It's the present anyways. He's just gonna sit for a little while and he'll leave when the train comes. The distance between them should be fine. She asks him if he's always going to be late getting home. According to what she saw, he usually takes the train. At this time, Lun tells her that he works a night shift at a coffee shop. The boss lets him leave early, but sometimes he finishes late. She gets a little interested in our protagonist's part-time job. She asks him if he goes to university. He answers yes. He's in his 4th year. It seems that he's a very busy person, preparing job applications. It must be difficult to work late and study. At the same time, the protagonist asks her if she also usually works late every day. Shennai answers no. She likes to talk to guys with peculiar taste before going home. He soon gets surprised hearing peculiar tastes. She mentions to him that people with unique preferences and hardcore taste take care of some clients like that before going home. Leon wonders if she's referring to the dark side of that job. She lets out a small smile and mentions to him that she's referring to the music. She works in a studio with rehearsal and recording rooms, many office. Bands book it late at night, and she, as the studio manager, works late and sometimes stays up all night. The protagonist, understanding that she was referring to a music studio, pauses for a moment. She asks him if he was thinking about something strange. He snaps, answering, "Not at all." Shennai asked him if he wasn't thinking about something weird just because she said hard right. Since she was referring to the musical genre, the protagonist answers that it's not what it seems. He wasn't thinking about anything strange. This girl is totally messing with the protagonist, leading him to a half-deviant conversation. It must have seemed easy for her to do so. Shennai asks him how he found out about the long afternoon band, since our protagonist seems busy with work and studying, and he doesn't seem to have much time to explore new music. Lun begins to remember that time he discovered it, it was more of a coincidence one day. He was dying from the flu, and he was in bed since he lives alone. No one was there to take care of him, so he just stayed lying down. The house felt too quiet, so he felt pretty lonely. He thought that putting on some music would help cheer him up, and he searched for something random. It was right there that he came across that band, Dark Planet, a long afternoon. At first, he just thought that the melody was good, but the more he listened to it, the more things he was totally falling in love with, and especially the lyrics that seemed to take everything with lines like, "Let it be," he asked the girl. What is your favorite song from Long Afternoon? Although the singer doesn't have too many songs, at least one should be liked by her. She answers that she also likes Dark Planet. The song Deal Flow is also good upon hearing this. He mentions that that song is fantastic, especially the part where the rhythm changes after the chorus. The singer seems to be brilliant using electronic instruments. She answers that is true. The train arrives at the tracks. It seems that they are already a bit late, what she said a while ago about let it be. Maybe if the singer had heard something like that, she would be happy. The protagonist turns red, thinking that that could happen. He would like it to talk to her a little more. It's not about a date or being closer. He would just wish to continue. Speaking of things, they both like the protagonist. Introduces himself as Ji Jun and wants to know her name. She also introduces herself as Shennai. Now that she knows his name, she wants him to make sure to say hello to her the next time they see each other. If he doesn't, she'll ignore him for life. The protagonist says that he hopes to see her again soon later. At Sinai's apartment, she finishes taking her bath. She sits on the bed and has a memory of that boy from the train a long time ago. While she was taking the train, she noticed the wallet that the man in the green jacket had dropped if the wallet was left there. It could be stolen from him, the protagonist. Took it to put it in the man's pocket and then sat down. He could have just left it nearby, but he put it in his pocket. If something went wrong, he could have been mistaken for a pickpocket. He's quite naive, but that doesn't take away from the fact that a good person like him doesn't think too much before showing his kindness. She knew that our protagonist was kind, but she didn't expect him to be a fan of Long Afternoon. Especially, she didn't expect him to be the passionate fan band type. She starts to think a little. She wonders if he would still like the band if he knew that she is Long Afternoon, or maybe she is the same as those girls who hurt her in her past. It is a deep wound that she cannot forget, and just remembering this scared her and upset her. At the same time, she is thinking again about something that she does not want to remember. It is very annoying. However, the people who like her music simply like it because it is music. That does not mean that they like her. She does not have to reveal that she is the singer as long as she continues making good music. It does not matter if Yuki, the cartoon of her profile, steals the cameras. It is fine. If she just continues being herself as long as she can continue doing what she loves, everything is fine the next day. We are in Shennai's music studio, was drawing the new image of her character to upload it on her Instagram. At that moment, some boys finished their shift in the music room. Shennai asked them if they left the room empty. They answer yes. The boy with the guitar wanted to make a reservation for next week at the same time, but besides that, he wanted to have her number or her Instagram user for a long time to send her a message. She, thinking about it a bit, apologizes to the guy. He ended up looking ridiculous after having done that. She mentions that it's time to clean. She enters the music room and starts vacuuming the floor. Shay's uncle arrives. At that moment, he had a rehearsal. Today, his name is Shin Hon Zong. He is the studio manager and he is a sound engineer. But apart from that, he asked her why she rejected that boy who asked for her number. Shennai asked him not to watch her secretly. Uncle tells her that he wasn't spying on her. He just saw him by accident. But going back to the main thing, why didn't she give him her number? Did she not find him attractive? She answers that she doesn't like to talk on the phone. She can't wait for his face if it's a message or a call. And what is more important, she doesn't like the style of that boys band. But there is something important that she has to tell him. The recording reservation at PM was canceled, so she can clean this up and go home for today. He will take care of the rest herself. It is already 8 at night. That is great. Today she will be able to work on new songs at home. But before she leaves, her uncle gives her a gift. Today is Valentine's Day. And since her uncle is considerate, he bought this for her on the way. Here, she should eat it with coffee while she works on her songs. People were going crazy over this. Sweet. A while ago, Shennai wants to ask her uncle for something. She wants to play the guitar a little before she leaves. Her uncle had no problem with it. On the other hand, in the cafeteria, the protagonist tells his boss that he is leaving. He should be careful when he gets home and have a good romantic trip back home. The protagonist continues denying that that won't happen. He reaches the train feet and takes a seat. He was supposed to improve his language grades on vacation, but he is still struggling with it. At that moment, Shennai appears on the scene. They both greet each other, but there is something that our protagonist comes to notice. She is carrying a gift with her. Shennai tells him that she got this for Valentine's Day in a few words. They gave her a gift. Surely Shennai must be popular. She is attractive and has style. She must surely have a lot of cool people around her. She must receive a lot of gifts all the time. Of course, our protagonist shouldn't worry about it. And it's not that they both know each other well enough to say anything about it. She realizes that the protagonist is studying hard. And so to help him regain energy, she tells him to eat this sweet. These things are good when you need to think. He asked her why she gave it to him. Hadn't someone else given it to her? Shennai mentions that she doesn't like sweets. If she takes it to her house, she would only end up throwing it away. That's why she wants him to take it. But even if he refused. Since it was too much to give her a gift that another boy gave her, he sees it as unethical. Upon hearing this, she mentions that she received a gift from her uncle. What was she thinking? Did he think that another boy had given it to her? Now she was disappointed. The protagonist comes to understand. The misunderstanding diverts the conversation and takes the gift. He asks her if they are chocolates, and she tells him that she hasn't tried them yet, so she doesn't know, but the candy is handmade. She heard that they are popular these days. She wants him to be able to eat them when he takes a break after studying, since he won't be able to think without sugar. He had never seen handmade candies. She tells Shennai that since his uncle gave them to her, she should try at least one. The protagonist is right. She has to tell her uncle what she thinks tomorrow about the taste of the candy, or he might be disappointed. Then she asks Lee Jun to give her one. She opens her mouth. Our protagonist asks her if she wants him to put it in her mouth. She answers, yes, she was tuning the guitar. Her hands are greasy. And it is better if she doesn't use them. Now she wants him to put it on her tongue, oohing and suck it herself. But she could take it home. She asks him to just put it in her mouth. And our protagonist has no choice but to do so. She brought her mouth closer and takes the candy. At that moment, she chokes on the candy. It tastes too clawing, she tells the protagonist to try one for him to check. And when tasting the candy, he mentions that it tastes too sweet. Even his head hurt when he tried it. He should definitely eat it with coffee or bitter tea, otherwise it will not have a balanced flavor. She is right. It is too sweet, he asked her. If she wants another one, she answers that with just one. It was enough. The next day at Lee's apartment, he is still asleep at that moment. His alarm rings, it feels like. He's only slept 30 minutes, but it's already morning. He wonders what he'll eat today. And remembering the candies that Shennai gave him, maybe he can try some by eating. Just one candy was too sweet that it woke up. His sleeping brain, it worked quite well now. He can start his day perfectly. At that moment, he receives a notification on his phone. Long Afternoon has published a post on his Insta already. At night, Lee Jun is in charge of serving his clients at work with great enthusiasm and energy. His boss sees him quite animated. Today, she asks him if something good happened to him. He answers that his favorite musician updated his Instagram, finally posted something after years. Considering his career until now, he could release a new song soon. He wonders what kind of song it will be this time. Just imagining it excites him quite a bit. The boss, knowing what it was, says that's why. She thought something romantic had happened. The protagonist does not understand what she means. His boss thought that he had progressed with the girl he met on the train. The protagonist answers not at all. It's not as if he liked her or something. But still, if they both see each other often, at least he should get closer to her. The protagonist answers that none of that will happen. Besides, he hasn't even seen her the last few days, but now that he thought about it, they have both gotten a little closer to each other recently. They already know each other's names. And she also gave him candy on Valentine's Day. The boss hears this, gets excited, and asks the protagonist to tell her how it all happened. She wants him to describe all the details. He answers that they only asked each other's names. The boss is already making a half-exaggerated scene in her head. And what happened next? He invited her out as a thank you, or maybe to get a drink. He answers that he wouldn't disappoint the boss. That's boring. If he had gone further, it could have become a story, a thing that he would use as an anecdote. Tonight, the protagonist says that his personal life can't be an anecdote for the boss. But what would be the problem if she wants? She can share an interesting story. The protagonist doesn't want to listen to it at that moment. Someone asks him for an order this person wants, a cappuccino if possible, to take it to go. The protagonist takes his order and the boy takes a seat. He feels like he's seen that person somewhere else. He wonders who he is. His boss asks him what's wrong. He tells her that that customer looked familiar. The boss mentions that that person is Sun Hunji, 28 years old. His real name is River Zung. He's an independent singer and songwriter. The protagonist is shocked to know this. What is such an important person like him doing in this place? The boss mentions that he's one of the customers who regularly comes to this cafe. He's been coming to this place for a while. At first, the boss didn't know who he was, but one of her customers told her. Now, the protagonist understands why he was so familiar. The most attractive musician these days as a frequent customer of this cafe. That's great. After that, Honi gets into his car and checks his phone. He's interested in the Long Afternoon band, he writes. Interesting songs. His style is unique, and he likes his mysterious image. He would send him a direct message so that they could both schedule a meeting and collaborate. On the other hand, the protagonist finishes his work schedule, he hopes, with aces to meet Shennai since he wants to talk about all the clues he found in the image of the new publication of Long Afternoon. Being able to talk about what he likes is the best feeling in the world. When he gets to the tracks, he doesn't find her in her seat. He hasn't seen her since the day of love and friendship. Surely she's busy, or maybe her work schedule has changed, or maybe she's avoiding him. Maybe it's because of the attraction he had when he received the gift, but thinking maybe he had great hopes for nothing at that moment. Shennai asks him, what has him so disappointed her presence leaves? The protagonist surprised. It's been a while, he thought. He wouldn't see her today either. Shennai asked him if that's the reason he was so disappointed. Perhaps he was disappointed at not being able to see her. The protagonist answers something like that today. There's something different about her. Maybe it's because our protagonist asks her if she's drunk. She answers yes. She went to drink at a bar alone before getting to the tracks. She recently finished something she was working on, so she just wanted to celebrate it a little. The protagonist thinks that seemed great to him. He asked her what she was working on. She answers, that's a secret. Those words surprise him. It's more tender when she smiles. Like that, her drunk version, he liked it. She's really beautiful. But it's not the time to think about that. He must concentrate and change the subject. He asked Shennai if she saw the new post that he published Long Afternoon. He was going to tell her more. But the train was arriving. It was quite early. He didn't even have time to say half of the things he wanted to talk about. And now they both will have to postpone the conversation for another time. He doesn't know what to do. Now he wanted to talk to her so much. At that moment, he thinks he's waiting too long. The enthusiasm will fade and he'll have nothing left to say. He has to say what he wants to do with her today. He asks her if she wants to have some drinks with him. This proposal was somewhat sudden, since right now it's somewhat late. Our protagonist, thinking about it a little, realizes that his words could be misunderstood. This will make him seem like a stupid who invites anyone on the street instantly. He apologizes to Shennai and she ends up accepting his proposal for some reason. She doesn't want this conversation to end here. They will both have some drinks. Just for a little longer, they take the train and both sit together. Each time the subway shakes his shoulder bumps into hers, he's getting too excited. Maybe it's because it's been a long time since he had a few drinks with someone. Shennai asks our protagonist where he lives. He answers that near Nandong Station. So she wants them both to go drink around that place. The protagonist asks her how she will get home. After drinking, she answers that she'll take a taxi and she can drive on her own, since she's an adult after all. The protagonist is sure he was going to pay her the taxi fare later. She answers that it's not necessary. In the end, our protagonist will end up paying for the drinks, but if she were to get really drunk, he'll have to take care of her, and tells him that when she's drunk, she says that she sleeps naked. This makes him somewhat nervous, but it was just a joke. They both get off the train. She asks him if this is the neighborhood where he lives. He answers yes. His apartment is 5 minutes from the station. They both had a few drinks near the station. He knows a pretty good place. She'll leave everything to him. But when they arrive, the place was closed. It's been a long time since he came to this place. He will find another place for both to drink. As he doesn't go out to drink often, he doesn't know places where there is a bar. He doesn't want to ruin this little outing. She notices this and comes up with an idea. Since it's too late, the only place where both could go to drink would be at our protagonist's house. That won't happen in any way, but in the end, they end up arriving at the apartment. It's pretty clean. Last week, he cleaned his room, If he hadn't done that, she would have seen her room a mess. She has something to ask him. Does he have a girlfriend? What is the reason for the question? It's just that it would be careless if it caused any misunderstanding in his house. She doesn't want to be seen as his lover. The protagonist answers her that he doesn't have a girlfriend, he's single, that's for the best, then they can both live right now. Layun asks Shennai if she's not dating someone. She answers that she has someone. His name is Liam, a foreigner who always has sharp words. He's good at singing and fighting. Then it should be wrong for both to drink in his apartment. She tells him that she was just joking. That person called Liam is the main vocalist of the band. Was as she thought that our protagonist knew about music enough to understand the joke. But since he didn't, she ends up apologizing. This scared the protagonist. He was worried that he might accidentally hurt someone's feelings. So they both will toast tonight. No one will come out hurt. The protagonist asks her again if she really doesn't have a boyfriend. She answers, no, she doesn't. After a few plates, Lon tells Shennai about the clues left by his favorite singer's new post according to his analysis. He supposes that the new song of Long Afternoon will come out in April, and he might use an instrument like an ukulele or maybe a guitar. However, she knows that she didn't want to put that meaning in the image. The protagonist was going crazy with excitement. He asked Shennai if she was excited too. She answers yes. She already finished recording the song, but she didn't plan on releasing it. In April, she wonders if she should hurry up and sign the distribution contract now, but leaving that subject aside, the protagonist tells her that Shennai's voice sounds like Long Afternoon, a slightly hoarse voice, as if there was a little fog and the soft tone that feels similar. But of course, Afternoon's voice is cooler. Shennai mentions that our protagonist really likes Afternoon. She didn't expect that to be all he was going to talk about tonight. The protagonist asks her if she was bored. She answers that she's having fun. It's better than having strange feelings and talking seriously. She can feel free to keep talking. She sits on the bed and tells him she is just gonna lie down while listening to him. The protagonist answers that if she lies down, she will fall asleep. While listening to him, Shennai doesn't think there will be problems with that. She will listen to him and fall asleep. She asked Leon if she can stay at his house. He thinks about it for a moment and asks her if she is serious. She asks him if it's not okay for her to stay. The protagonist tells her not to joke with him like that. She approaches him and tells him that it will depend on him. If he wants her to stay, then she will stay. Then what should she do? The protagonist gets nervous and after thinking about it for a moment, gives her permission to stay since he still wants to continue talking to her. That is good. Then she unbuttons the pants. The protagonist asks her why she is taking off her pants, and she answers that she was just unbuttoning them since she drank beer. She doesn't want her stomach to swell. The protagonist understands, but the best option would be to change clothes. He will lend her some sportswear that he has washed. The beer she already ran out. It was the last can she drank. If she wants more, our protagonist can go buy more. She agrees. So while he goes to the store, she is changing if there is something she needs, like a brush or something she wants her to tell him. She answers that she has hers in her bag, but there is something that she does want him to buy for her. She is on her period and didn't bring that. She will pay him later. He goes to the store and starts choosing. He had to buy some pads for Shennai. He never bought one of these, so he doesn't know which one is which. Anyway, he will only buy one already in one of the products. He sees some contraceptives. Maybe that is what Shennai sent him to buy. Maybe he has gone crazy. It would be a lie to say that he is not thinking about having intimate relations with her. Shinja is very attractive and a very good person. And that is the reason why he should keep calm. He shouldn't mess things up so hastily. He doesn't want to be rejected like last time. And that's because his feelings were too strong. Just seeing Shennai taking the last train makes him happy. If Shennai takes the initiative that night, maybe he'll buy it. There was no reason to refuse, just imagining it. He can't get up anymore. He goes back to his apartment. He enters the room and realizes that Shennai had fallen asleep. She seems quite relaxed, but she asks him to wake up for a second and goes to cover her with the sheets, since if not, she would get the flu. She takes him by the neck. The protagonist asks her to wait a second, and she laughs, telling him that he is very handsome. He is completely her type. This makes him completely nervous, and at that moment, she falls asleep. She was talking, sleeping the cover with the sheets, almost falls on her. Her breath was close to his face. He almost loses his mind. He barely got over it. He falls asleep on the couch. If she had hugged him, he would not have been able to push her away, even though they are both drunk. The protagonist's feelings were intense, and he can't stop them. The next morning, he wakes up. His head hurts. They wonder where. Surely she is in the bathroom. He notices something there. It was a note that Shennai left him. As she saw him sleeping deeply, she did not want to wake him and left first to use what he bought for her for another occasion. And also she gave it to him later. She even picked up the beer cans that she bought at the store. But not only were there some beer cans in the bag that the protagonist bought, but he had also bought the condoms. He doesn't remember having bought them, but that night he thought that he probably will need them, and well, he bought them. If something happens, he would need to be prepared, and now that he thought about it, he regrets it. Surely Shennai, I've seen it now, she will think that the protagonist is a pervert. Maybe she thinks that he wanted an adventure with her only for one night, and when night comes, the protagonist takes the train tracks, meets Shennai, sees this, and smiles at him. He also greets her. There is something that both must talk about. The protagonist takes a seat. He does not know what he should do. He wants to invent something to get out of this embarrassing situation. He imagines a situation in which he tells her that he bought her condoms for a school assignment about a sex ed report for high school students, or maybe tell her that he bought them by accident while he was shopping for some vitamins. He knows that won't work. It would be pathetic. It's also mean. It's better to be honest about what he was thinking at that moment. He was going to tell her, but at that moment she stops him. She wants to tell him something first. The main character agrees. She's been thinking about it for a while, and that is that she plans to keep some distance with him. He asked her why. She realized that she doesn't feel any tension when she is next to him, especially the last time she knows that she was drunk. But still, maybe it's because when she was younger, she used to go out with her uncle's bandmates talking a lot about music. She thinks that she played with our main character without much caution and without realizing it. She crossed the line, so for now she needs to put some distance between them. He asked her if this is because of the condoms that he bought that day. She laughs when she hears this. She answers that she wasn't bothered at all, considering the atmosphere of that day. This kind of thing can happen sometimes at parties, but she didn't expect that our protagonist will consider a one-night stand. He apologizes. He didn't plan on having a one-night stand after drinking, she understands imperfectly, but that wasn't a big deal. There's something else. The protagonist asks her what it is. She tells him that she's just unbearable. What does she mean? That night, the thing she did, entering someone's apartment uninvited because she wanted to borrow clothes, shamelessly sleeping in the bed while the host had to sleep on the couch. Every single thing she did was hateful and unbearable. No wonder now he understands her. She was excited to be drunk that she didn't even realize. But when she woke up, she really felt bad. That's why she left without even saying goodbye, and apologizes for that for the protagonist. That was surprising to him. Shennai has always been cool and self-confident, as if she didn't care what others thought of her. But now seeing her regretful, feeling ashamed, and apologizing for something like that is so unexpected. That side of her is adorable. He tries to contain his laughter. But anyway, she wants to keep a certain distance because of those rude things she did. If she stays close to him, it could be something similar again. She might not come to this station for a while for the protagonist. That's not okay. He gets too close to her. She asks him why it wouldn't be okay. The protagonist tells her that Long Afternoon will release a new song soon, and he wants to talk about it, especially with her, but if she stays close to him, she might do something stupid again. It could be something even worse for the protagonist. It's okay, he'll be able to handle her behavior. He'll handle Shennai naughty and wild jokes and ask her to not leave his side. Never. The next train is about to arrive, so next time she'll buy the snacks when she gets back home. They'll both drink together again. That sounds good? And that said, she tells the protagonist to save what he bought last time. Until then, she might need it soon. The protagonist, remembering, wonders if she means the condoms he bought last time. She tells him that she means the beer Of course, she doesn't want him to get a bad idea. Shennai arrives at her apartment. She takes off her jacket. It's a relief that the protagonist didn't get upset. She was worried that he would hate her. He accepted her way of being and forgave her, but the memories of that night will not disappear. She does not know why she acted like that. She must have seemed like a pervert if she had not fallen asleep that night. Maybe both would have done that kind of thing, and she is already imagining it. But thinking about that makes her blush. It is something silly to think about that right now. She must compose the melody that she made in the practice room on her phone. She receives a direct message from a person she wonders if it is really the official account. The person who wrote to her is Shunji. He wants to propose a collaboration together the next day. She is playing the guitar with her favorite guitar pick. She finishes playing and starts to think about the message that Hunji left her to do a collaboration. It sounds fun. Someone knocks on the door. It is Shay's uncle. He asks if she has finished practicing. She answers that she is about to finish. Her uncle asks her if she wants to eat some ultra spicy food. Shennai answers yes, and they start eating the dishes. She continues, thinking if she should collaborate with Hunji or not. Her uncle asks her what she is thinking. She tells him what happened yesterday. Her uncle tells her that this collaboration would be a great opportunity. She answers that she feels hesitant to accept. Her uncle asks her if the singer made any unreasonable demands. She answers that he didn't. It's just that if they both do a collaboration, she'll eventually be in the spotlight. She's worried that her face will be known. Her uncle wants to encourage her to continue with the project, but because of the pain she suffered as a young woman, the scars remained on her. He's not sure if she's still hurt, but he just hopes that she can get over that hurt quickly and make her way. She's quite a talented artist. How about if they both get together and talk? It's much better than thinking about it every moment. So she'll know what the best decision is. Even if they don't collaborate, they could get close. Through this opportunity, it can also help advertise the music studio after work. She starts to think about it. She sees an advertisement and wonders how celebrities handle the artist they love. How much courage does it take to overcome pressure? When she gets to the tracks, she meets our protagonist. Smiling, she asks him what he's doing. He answers that he's preparing for his employment program. He needs to practice his expression. A natural smile will make a good impression. She wants to check the fetus. She is surprised by the amount of attention it takes to do the interview. That is just the basics. There are many more things he has to present, and it is so annoying. Then Shennai asks him to try something. She will be the interviewer, and our protagonist will have to keep her gaze. It is simple. She will ask him any question, and he just must answer. If he avoids her gaze, he is out. Although it is embarrassing, there are not many people in the station. So they will start right away. The protagonist gets into serious mode. It is the first time she has seen him with that face. It seems that he has giving his best effort, giving everything he has to be able to advance. She imagines him with suit and with his hair combed. She was excited just thinking about it. And June asked her if she will not ask him a question. She was thinking for a moment. She asked him what his last kiss was. What kind of question is that? She tells him that those questions can become important. In interviews, the protagonist tells her that this rather seems like a game. It is quite boring. He is disqualified. Then she will report the company to the Ministry of Employment. At the end of the interview, Shennai gives him something important. It was a lucky charm, is the pick of her electric guitar. If he carries it with him, he will not make any mistakes since it contains the energy that he puts into his practice. If he carries it with him, he will do well in the interview. The protagonist thanks her. She becomes happy. On the other hand, in Huni's music studio, he receives a message. When checking, he realizes that it was from long afternoon. First, he will do an interview before starting with a collaboration. The next day, Shennai arrives at the building where she will meet with Shuni. She seems and greets her and introduces himself as the singer Honey. It must have been difficult to find the way she answers that. Using Google Maps, she arrived. Instantly, Hun asks why she came alone. He thought she would come with her band. She answers that the other members only help her with the recording of arrangements. In a few words, she is an individual singer. Her friends have individual activities. In other places, Han understands he wants her to follow him so that both of them talk comfortably. He asks her her name. She presents as Shennai. He can call her however he wants. Since the meeting room is under renovation, they will talk in his studio. She asks him if this building belongs to him. Cousins, no, just rented a few offices, but maybe later he'll buy the whole building when he releases his next music albums. She is surprised, but only a little. Shai's reaction was very normal. He thought that she would be more interested, or maybe it's because she doesn't trust that he'll release his next albums and buy this building. It won't be easy for her to start, but simply Shennai was tired. That's why she behaved this way. They arrive at the studio, and he asked her if she wants something to drink. She answers that she wants to talk about the collaboration project. She wants to get to the point first. She must review the contract. She begins to read the contract and tells him that she has a concern about the collaboration she will have to perform live or participate in promotional activities with her face uncovered. He answers that not necessarily she can continue working as an anonymous artist if she wants, but there is something that he has to make clear to her. The reason why he wants to do this collaboration is not just to have commercial success. He wants people to know Shay's talent. Having said this, she will listen to the demo that Huni prepared. She agreed with what he said. Will it be some tactic for the deal, or was he considerate with her? It is then that He shows her the demo. Shennai listens to the melody of the music and doesn't like it. She asks him to stop. It's supposed that she will be the vocalist, isn't it? He answers yes, and that's why Shennai doesn't like it. It's supposed that in the collaboration, the style of music must be a combination between both. She asks him to move. She will tie her hair. She will delete some tracks. Huni says that she just silences it. It's not necessary to delete them. Shennai doesn't care and ends up doing it. Shennai spent time compiling the track almost 3 nights in a row. Her music lacked depth. People not only enjoy her music, but they also like her style. She can't compromise. Her essence. It's a combination of zone and rock. She doesn't leave aside her style of music. Shennai is interested, an interesting artist. A good song will come out of this. He asks Shennai if she wants to have some beer. She says yes tonight. She will fix the music on the other hand. Let's go to the protagonist. Studying. The homework was getting complicated. He will take a break. He stretches a little and thinks about the preparations for his next exam. But besides that, he wants to see Shennai. His phone suddenly rings. He takes it out and notices that a certain notification came to him from another side. Shennai starts practicing her verse. Someone calls her name. It's the protagonist. He wants to have a musical meeting with her. A new release of Long Afternoon will come out soon. What does he mean by musical meeting? Basically, both of them will share their opinions about music as if they were both watching a movie. It's the first time she hears that. In high school, once he did something like that with a friend. They listened to both the singer's opinion and the commentator. He wants both of them to get together to appreciate the music on April 28th. That day, he would listen to the music at home. He will drink a few drinks to have fun. She asks him if he was hoping more than anything to drink with her, to which he answers that it's not that he just wants to listen to the music with her. Although he certainly did want to spend time with her. She becomes happy. Then she will check her calendar. On April 28th, she has the recording session scheduled for the collaboration. It seems that it will be difficult. She will be busy in her studio in the afternoon that same day in that case. There is no problem she will see if she can rearrange her schedule. If she has time, the protagonist says, don't worry, it was just an impulsive proposal. There is no reason to force yourself. But even if he says that the protagonist's expression is pitiful like a puppy, it is a little complicated to postpone the schedule later. Maybe another time they will have a drink. They will simply drink like good friends. After he finishes his exams, they both had a few drinks. The protagonist agrees. A few days later, the exam's in. He has to hand in his homework next week. His friends would have a party this afternoon. They ask the protagonist if he wants to attend. He answers that he will be busy. This afternoon, also today, is the release of Long Afternoon's new music, whether Shennai attends or not. He will listen to the music to enjoy it. The song comes out at 4 p.m., but once he finishes his work, he will listen to it at home. Quietly, he starts to work. Finishes work, goes home, enters his room, and sits down. But he is hungry. He must have dinner. First, he will order fried chicken for delivery, and while the chicken is on the way, he takes a bath. He starts to think about Shennai, and somehow he feels alone. Someone rings the bell. Surely it is the chicken. He leaves the bathroom, opens the door, and that person was Shennai. He asks her, what's she doing here? She sees his crotch and tells him that she came here for the musical Meeting the Protagonist, thought that she would not come. She answers that she did everything possible to come early and not arrive too late. The protagonist tells her to come in. But before that, she asks him why he is wearing underwear. The protagonist notices and asks her to wait a moment. He puts on his pants. She came directly to his house without warning. Shennai wants to borrow clothes like the last time, but before drinking. She wants to shower first. The protagonist agreed she takes a bath. Meanwhile, Leon cleans the table. He did not think that Shennai would remember the address of his house. That means that from now on, Shennai can visit him. At any time, he must keep his room clean daily, just in case Shennai asks him for a towel. He will bring it to her immediately. He looks for a towel and gives it to her hand. He got a little nervous. He needs to stay calm. He should just think about other things and reach the point of enlightenment. Shennai leaves the bathroom. The protagonist tells her that the clothes she is wearing are pretty big and could fall at any second, or maybe he liked them. That way, the protagonist plays along and tells her that he didn't have another piece of clothing to give her. In the end, he does end up giving her another piece of clothing. Shennai Lan's eyes are quite wide. He asked her how she managed to finish her work today. For that, we will have to go back a few minutes. She was singing when she finished. The producer tells her that this chorus was enough. He will finish this verse and record the mixed source separately. He just finished checking. This guy called Ham Kyun is the drummer of Long Afternoon. He mentions that it is the first time he sees Shennai so hurried. This boy named Ji Wang is the bassist of the band and mentions that Shennai knows what she does. She will do it perfectly. She finishes composing her part. It was already done. Huni congratulates her. They would have a party after this, but Shennai can't attend. She has something important to do. They can do the party without her, and she leaves the studio. Surely Shennai got a boyfriend, is what they think that was all that happened. After they finished the recording, she had some time left. It's interesting. Now it's time to listen to the new song. She brought a whiskey that her uncle just gave her. They both drink the whiskey. Little by little, they get drunk. It's time to listen to the music. This is called Blue Lotus. They put on the headphones and play the music. They start listening to this song. She had already heard it dozens and hundreds of times while recording and mixing. It can be boring, but listening to it in silence makes her think about the thoughts she had while creating the song, the tracks she wanted to arrange, the instruments she wanted to use. That will also remain the lyrics. Countless fragments that came from her heart made her continue alive in this song. The mere fact of knowing that someone in this vast world listens to her music makes her heart fill with emotion. She wonders what kind of reaction the protagonist will have. He springs up, possibly he likes it, or maybe he doesn't understand it. Anything is fine. But it would be good if he liked it. She sees him and notices him crying. She, somewhat confused, moves him to bring him back to his senses. She asks him what he was thinking. He answers that. The song is good. The lyrics immersed him in his thoughts. It was so personal that it made him cry. He asked Shennai what she thought of this one. She answers that she liked the acoustic guitar, but being more specific, it would be the melody. At first, Shennai was embarrassed to talk about her own music with another person. But now she wants to get drunk with the protagonist as if there was no tomorrow. She wants to talk and play. Her heart is about to explode. The protagonist doesn't know what to do. It could be the effects of the alcohol, or maybe because of the music, but for some strange reason, he wants to hug Shennai. Maybe these are his true feelings. Or who knows, he doesn't have it quite clear. Shennai can talk about music. In some singers, they laugh at some anecdotes and talk about Shay's uncle's musical band. Since she was little, her uncle taught her music. Back then, she listened to modern music. At first, she didn't understand much, but the more she listened, the more she liked it. She was surprised the voices of those singers were incredible, and that's why she wanted to make music, so that her voice can be heard hundreds of years from now, and that one day aliens would hear it. She knows that one day aliens will invade planet Earth. This seemed funny to the protagonist, but changing the subject, she asked Shennai if he has any songs of his own, since she would like to listen to his music. She is also a little nervous. She tells him that she doesn't have any yet. She hasn't managed to write a song that he really likes. That's a shame. Surely his songs would be great. Instead, she can prepare a special cocktail for him, the protagonist. Can't drink any more alcohol. He feels that he has lived a lot tonight. The new song was great, and the talk was also fun. Shennai asks him if he is sleepy. He answers that he is a little tired from having stayed up studying that afternoon. Then she lies down on his legs. She answers that she only laid down for a while to write in her star diary. Every time she writes a note about her daily mood, a new star appears. In the sky, the protagonist asks her what she will write today. She is a little nervous. She tells him that she will write that our protagonist's thighs are as soft as a pillow, and that she will also hug him as if he were a pillow. While he sleeps, then he will also do the same. Shennai asks him if she is serious or if it is just a joke. The protagonist asks her if she is afraid that she is serious. She answers that fear is not it. It's just that our protagonist is drunk. It would be better if both went to sleep. The protagonist tells her that he is not drunk. He really wants to hug her while she sleeps. He asks Shennai if he would give him permission to do it. She asks him if he has the courage to hug her. He can try if he wants. She will not stop him at that moment. The protagonist balances against her, and both fall on the floor. Shennai gets a little nervous. The protagonist had been holding back for a long time to do this. He did not want to treat her carelessly. She understands him and hugs him too. They will both hug each other tonight. After a moment of silence, Shennai asks him if he is asleep. Yes, the protagonist is asleep. He fell asleep while hugging her. He is surely tired from staying up late studying. She starts to get him up and throws him on his bed. She has a drink and mentions that he made her throw her heart out, but it is unfortunate that he fell asleep after that, as they both agreed to sleep together. They hug. While she sleeps, the protagonist had a rather softening smell. It is driving her crazy. The aroma of his skin smells good, but she has not even told his that she is long afternoon. She hasn't shown him everything about her. She is here, hiding, cowardly, spying on his reaction, and delighting in everything about him. She does not know if it is right to do something like this, maybe. The person who does not have the courage to hug the other is not the protagonist, but her who hides her true identity. The next morning, the protagonist wakes up with a headache. He does not know how he got to his bed. The last thing he remembers last night was when he talked to Shennai about his uncle's musical band. But honestly, he can't remember everything. But what does it matter? It is better to keep sleeping. Surely Shennai went home. For some strange reason, he feels that the blanket is hard. Surely she put something inside. At that moment, Shennai wakes up. This scares him to death. She asked him if he slept well last night. The protagonist can't believe that he slept in the same bed with Shennai alone. He just hopes that he did not do something crazy that night. A few minutes later, they both woke up. Shennai dries her hair. Meanwhile, the protagonist is preparing ramen. He wonders to himself if he really slept with Shennai last night in the same bed. Surely, he must have done something weird while he was drunk. That's what he wonders. Legion asks him what's wrong. She wants to know his schedule today to see if he'll be busy. He answers that he's going to work today. The rest of the day, he'll be home checking some homework. That's good then, the protagonist thinks. She can rest a little. Yesterday, she looked so tired. First, she'll eat ramen before going to work. Today, she has work at 1, so why don't you stay at my house until then? I wouldn't mind if you stayed. She asks him if perhaps he wants to spend more time with her. The protagonist answers that it's not because of that, but it could be very tiring to return home and then go out again. She doesn't mind. She should go back to her house and relax. Also, she needs to change clothes. That doesn't mean that she doesn't like our protagonist's house. It's just that her house is closer to the studio than hers. So if it's closer, he should tell her that she can come whenever she wants. But after thinking about that, he takes it back. Shennai can't come here for any reason since he doesn't have anything of hers. Shennai wants to ask him something. Do you usually do some kind of exercise? He answers that he only exercises at home on his days off. Sometimes he goes jogging in the mornings. He used to belong to an athletics club. Knowing this, she already expected that. The protagonist wants to know why she asks. She answers that she felt like Lee Jun's body was in good shape, and she knows that because she hugged him last night. She assumed that he had broad shoulders when he was wearing clothes, but when she hugged him, she could feel that his body was solid and his arms were so strong. Lee Jun asks her if he hugged her too. Don't you remember? Yesterday he suddenly hugged her and told her that he was holding back the urge to do this. He is stupefied. He wants to think that that was a lie. Maybe she's just joking. Shennai answers, no, what she told him is true. He doesn't remember when he hugged her suddenly. He did it quite hard, and she thought that tonight she couldn't sleep. But then the protagonist fell asleep, so I just fell asleep next to him. He apologizes, saying he must have been really drunk. She replies that it's nothing. She enjoyed it too. That's right, she enjoyed it. It's been a long time since she hugged someone tightly, so she learned something new. That people's bodies are tougher than you think. He shouldn't worry too much about it. It just means that everything is okay for now. Moments later, while some old people were jogging through the park, our protagonist quickly passed by. He's been studying a lot lately. He's barely been exercising. He's probably out of shape. He's just doing this for his health and fitness. It's not like he's trying to impress Shennai, but thinking about her, she does like him being in shape. Of course, he must feel a lot cooler. One more lap and then go home to work on his upper body with some push-ups. Meanwhile, at Shennai's work, she was drawing on her tablet. This character looked a bit like Lee Jun. Maybe she'll post it on her Instagram later. At that moment, Kium, the guitarist, surprises her. Why is he acting like that? Is she watching something dirty on her tablet? She tells him that she doesn't watch that kind of thing. But besides that, she asks him, what is he doing here? Kium tells her that another team came up and booked this place at 3 in the afternoon. Changing the subject, Shennai tells him that last night they got drunk with Hyun Jae, and he asks her if they went out after she left. They were drinking until dawn. They drank expensive things, and Sun Yae paid the bill. She asks him if he got closer to Sun Yae. Kium answers yes. He also met each other's bands, but before going home, they had a little chat. Sun Yae asked her if she wanted to do a live clip of the collaboration. In other words, a live compilation movie, like a music video with multiple cameras. In that case, she can handle the editing or the direction of the camera and do it live. Hyun Jae wanted to try it, but before making the decision, she first had to consult with Shennai. Upon hearing this, she mentions that it was to be expected. Sun Jae didn't just want to pursue music production. But if she can find some courage herself and make some music product over and over again, Lee Jun will have a new expression on his face. First, she'll think about it. Maybe she can do it without trying to involve her face. Later, we're with the protagonist. His muscles hurt a lot from exercising so much. He shouldn't have rushed his training after all. Still, today was a full day. He had breakfast with Shennai, did a quick workout, finished his homework, and listened to Loon Afternoon's new song. He arrives at work and meets the other cafeteria worker. Lee Jun was expecting to meet his boss, but it's strange that she's not here anymore. Did she go shopping? He goes to storage and puts on his summer uniform. It's time to change shifts, although he will tell the boss that it was first. His coworker tells him that the boss won't be able to work tonight. She called in sick an hour ago. The protagonist asks her how it happened. She tells him that she only seemed to have a bad cold. She started with chills when she got to work and then had to go to the hospital. The protagonist, knowing this, thinks to call her later. Then it's time to work. It must have been very hard to work alone. That's why she will stay. It will be hard if our protagonist worked alone. Her name is Shinju. She is 23 years old. She works late shifts and is a student on vacation. She will help our protagonist just for today. She gets to make the deliveries to the clients, preparing their drinks, and in the meantime, the protagonist calls his boss to find out how she was. She tells him that it's not a big deal. She's just in the hospital with intravenous fluids because he's overloaded with work. It was probably because he drank too much at night while watching a drama. She asks him if he can do the work himself, or he need an assistant. Lee-jun tells her that Shinjo told him that she would stay and that she would help him this afternoon. That means that right now she is working 2 shifts. Lee-jun had even told that. But since he is a student on vacation who does nothing during the day, there is no problem with that. The boss will pay her overtime. She has no problem with that. But since she finished her shift, our protagonist would be in charge of closing the place. Meanwhile, his boss will do some tests and will return home. The protagonist asks her to rest. He is glad that his boss is okay. Shinjo asks him what he told his boss. He told her that Shinjo can work until the night to pay her overtime and also not to overwork herself too much. It is a little difficult, but he hopes to work with her properly today. There are many clients in the afternoon. It will not be easy to do this. Only Shinjo will be able to bear it. Fortunately, Shinjo is a smart person. She will not be clumsy at work. For now, he will take out the trash cans and receive some orders. But before he leaves, there is something that she has heard. She has heard from her boss that our protagonist is in his 4th year of university. That means that he is older than her, and from now on, the protagonist can speak to her informally since she is 23 years old. He will take this into account. While he goes outside, he leaves her in charge of the counter. He takes out the trash and mentions that Shinjo is a clingy person. He only worked with her for 1 day, but now she is telling her that to speak to her informally. He also used to wonder how long he would last with that other person, or how often they would meet, or how often they would see each other. He is just going around and around the matter. He was always calculating the continuity of the relationship and controlling the distance. But returning to the store, Shinjo tells Lee-jun that they are in trouble. He doesn't understand what is happening. Someone ordered a delivery order of 15 drinks and sandwiches. He needs the help of the protagonist. An order like that at this time is quite unusual. Shinjo tells him that all the drinks they ordered are different, and it is driving her crazy. The protagonist will make the sandwiches. Shinjo will be in charge of making the drinks. Many things have happened to our protagonist today. He doesn't understand why. In moments like this, it is so complicated for him. But still, he is glad that Shinjo stayed. He was worried about her just for working here for 2 months, but she seems to be good at her job and is responsible, so he can trust her. At that moment, Shinjo tells the protagonist that the mixer was not working. A few hours later, they finished with the work. Today was a pretty hard day. The number of customers in the room has increased as the days go by. They make long shifts. Shinjo, before leaving, tells the protagonist that he will be first. Lee-jun mentions to him to be careful when returning home. It is not necessary to worry about her since her house is in front of the store. She hopes to see him tomorrow. The protagonist wishes her good night. She leaves the store. Meanwhile, Lee-jun prepares for the closing of the store, and while doing that, he starts to think a little. He wants to know something about her. How old is Shennai? He never asked her age. He is curious to know. When he reaches the tracks, she tells him that she is 39 years old. That is quite old. He wants to think that it is a joke, but he does not know what to answer. He thinks that maybe it is a lie. Of course it is a lie. Obviously she is lying. Really, he thought that she was 39 years old? Lee-jun was just surprised. In case it was real, it has been a long time. Then, how old is she really? Is it a secret? She answers that it is not a secret. Why suddenly is he curious about that? Does he want to investigate to know if she is suspicious? The protagonist answers that it is none of that. Then why is she curious? She does not know her age either, but maybe that matter. Lee-jun, hearing this, mentions that it doesn't matter anymore. He just asked the wrong thing. It seems that she was a little rude when she answered. She was just trying to annoy him a little, but okay, then she's gonna tell him. But she wants him to promise her one thing. From now on, when he calls her by her first name, it must go together with the word miss. That's why she didn't tell him her age, just so that he would call her that way. He thought it would be a little more uncomfortable. Shennai likes to be called Miss. She feels like she's being treated like an adult, and it doesn't sound too much like a guest. Lee-jun asks her if it's some kind of role-playing game. She tells him that it's not that. She simply likes it when he calls her Miss Shennai. It's a little weird, but she likes it, so from now on, he will call her that since it's not that difficult. Then, how old is she? Is she the same age as him? Shennai tells him that she is 21 years old. Our protagonist, on the other hand, is 25 years old. That's ridiculous, isn't it? She is supposed to be a professional. She has to be at least 22 years old when she graduates from college. How can she be that old? She tells him that she didn't go to college. She got a job when she came of age. If he doesn't believe her, she can show him her ID. Why did he ask her at the beginning if she still went to college? That's because she got into the job side first, and that's why he asked. She's still young enough to make whiskey bombs. Shennai learned it from her uncle. The next train is arriving. In any case, the protagonist just made a promise. He'll keep calling her by her name like he always has. He's waiting for Uncle Lee Jun to keep his promise. Shennai talks like an adult and seems experienced. He thought she'd be older or his own age, but it turns out she's quite cunning. The next day, at the cafe, boss UYU complains about how tired she feels after a day off from work. Maybe tomorrow, she'll get a massage before coming to work. Lejun asks her why she doesn't take the day off. She answers that if she took a few days off, she'd lose money. The protagonist tells her that she'll probably die thinking about money. His boss answers that she doesn't care about money. It's scarier than death. The protagonist says that's true. But by the way, Lejun asks him what he thinks of Shinju. She's only been working here for 2 months, and she's good at her job. The protagonist mentions that's true. She has a cheerful personality, is good at serving customers, and is very empathetic, but the only flaw she has is that she hasn't memorized all the recipes yet. The boss answers that that can't be helped, because she hired her quickly. Anyway, his boss is glad that Lejun was there. Without him, she couldn't be calm. He's the only part-time person she can trust with the cafe. Lijan is embarrassed by what his boss said, so suddenly, he changes the subject. She asks if he's going to be off on his next day off. The protagonist answers that he doesn't have much to do the next day, so they should go get some meat. Lejun asks her why so suddenly. His boss suddenly tells him that it's her way of thanking him. Yesterday, he suffered a lot because of her. If that's the case, why doesn't he thank him with cash? His boss tells him that she has already given him all his pay. The protagonist answers that the more cash, the better. His boss calls him an ungrateful bastard. She wants them both to have some drinks, besides. She wants to eat meat. John tells him that he can eat the meat at his house. His boss tells him that she wants to go to a restaurant. Besides, it would be pathetic to go alone, to eat meat alone. It's so depressing, being alone at home, eating meat, and washing dishes. It's just a pain. That's why she wants them both to go eat together. She asks him if he wants. The protagonist thinks about it. Since he has some free time, maybe he can. Then, he asks her what day they can meet. But he notices that his boss is looking away. He asks him what's wrong. His boss asks him to stay at the counter for a second. On one of the tables, Hyun-Yae was listening to the music that she composed with Shennai. He mentions that this collaboration song, the version mixed by his studio engineer, is more complete in general. But the version mixed by Shennai herself is not bad. It's a little rough, but each instrument has its own unique touch, the retro feel of Long Afternoon, and its unique sense of space. He starts to think about what he should do. He seriously loves both versions, so it's hard to decide. He will have to go back to the studio and listen to both versions, again on her monitors. Suddenly, he hears the sound of a photo. Someone was taking secret photos. Knowing that they were taking photos of her secretly, he mentions that it's not the first time that it happens to her, but he's embarrassed that they do it here. It's been happening for a while, and it's getting worse. He prefers that people lash out and ask him for a photo, or maybe they don't want to take a photo with him, but they're interested in someone's private life. Well, it doesn't matter. He doesn't want to cause problems for this cafeteria, so for the moment, he must leave. Now, at that moment, the boss has the boy who is taking photos of Hyunji. He's not supposed to film other customers. Hyunji notices this action. The guy in the cap replies that he wasn't doing it. How should he know that this guy is on TV and is famous? The boss tells him that whether he's famous or not, everyone who enters this cafe is a customer. He asks him to please stop doing that. The guy in the cap says that he's also a customer. How can a cafe worker talk to his customer like that? The boss knows that the guy in the cap hasn't ordered yet. She normally doesn't say anything to people who sit down without ordering, but she can't stand seeing someone bother other customers. So he either orders his drink or does him the favor of leaving. The guy in the cap, seeing himself intimidated, tells the boss to destroy this place on the internet. He'll give them a bad review on all the social networks, and will put her out of business. The boss wishes him good luck and says goodbye. Junjae apologizes to the boss, saying he is sorry to have caused her problems. The boss replies, "Don't worry, there's always a lot of noise in the cafe. It's part of the business, so he shouldn't worry." He waits for Hyun-Jae to come back again, no matter if he's famous or not. She knows that he likes the cappuccinos from this coffee shop. Hyun-Jae answers, yes, he loves them. This is the best cappuccino he had, and he ends up leaving after drinking. That was very annoying. Celebrities must be very annoying. They keep getting into trouble. Lee Yun congratulates his boss, saying she kept his regular customer and kicked out the annoying person. "It's simply great," he says. The boss mentions that that's not true. She shouldn't limit herself to just observing, since if she does, it would be a sure way to make her life miserable. Then she asks him if he wants to eat meat or not. She wants to try some beef. The protagonist sighs, answering, yes, he wants them both to go eat. He can't wait for that day to come. Then they will meet from 7. The next day, Lejun was waiting while he stays looking at his phone. He mentions that it's almost time for summer internships. He hasn't visited any company yet. Maybe he will have to wait a little longer. Now that he starts to think, he doesn't know why he thinks about it too much. It's not so urgent. He shouldn't put too much pressure on his shoulders. The job search is going according to the plan, unless he got tired. The latter will certainly bear fruit. So in that case, first, listen to Long Afternoon, this new song. He loves it, and it's relaxing, but there's something she realizes when entering the platform. In the list of Cindy music recommendations on the Spotify application, the cover of the Long Afternoon album is among the top 40, or that's how she sees it at that moment. The boss sees that our protagonist arrived early. But, besides the boss, she was accompanied by Shinjo. He didn't know that she would come. His boss tells her that Shinjo also worked hard that day, so she should eat some meat. She greets Liu, he also greets Shinjo. The time has come for them to have a meat party. Today's goal is to eat a whole beef. It's been a long time since they ate, so they won't go home until they finish it. Shinjo takes the protagonist by the arm, telling Lejun to go together at once. She hasn't eaten beef in a long time either. The protagonist answers yes, but he doesn't know why she suddenly held his arm. Somehow, it feels strange. Definitely today he's just gonna eat beef. In another scene change, we see Shennai composing music. She starts to spell out how his next music would sound. For some reason, it doesn't sound right. It's the rhythm, or it's because she's hungry. Maybe she's gonna go get some meat. Now we are located in the restaurant where they sell meat. At the table of our protagonist, they were eating the meat. The boss Uju mentions that the meat tastes delicious. Definitely, when one is tired, nothing is better than a juicy beef. The boss tells the protagonist Shinju to eat quickly before it runs out. But it was not necessary to say it, since, without her telling them, they were already eating the meat. The boss Uju asks the waiter for one more bottle of soyu for this table. Lee Jin knows that his boss recently had a hangover. Wouldn't it be a bit exaggerated to drink alcohol after that? His boss responds that everything will be fine. There is nothing to worry about. As the old saying goes, poison is fought with poison, and alcohol with more alcohol. The protagonist mentions that such a saying does not exist. She should eat in moderation since she does not have anyone to take care of her, isn't it? Yes, her boss responds. That's why he called our protagonist. Li Jun tells her that he does not plan to take care of her. Shinjo, for her part, gives them half-suspicious eyes, noting that they both get along very well. She asks his boss if they both knew each other before. She responds no. Simply, they have both worked together for a long time. That is why they get along so well, and from time to time, they eat together in this way. Since our protagonist lives alone, and the boss also, she always called him to go out on his days off so that both of them have a good time. Shinju is surprised to know this. Then she asks them if they are dating or something like that. The protagonist doesn't know what he is talking about. They just eat together. Shinju says that sounds suspicious, that a man and a woman go out to eat alone. Clearly, it is what a couple would do. The protagonist responds that that does not mean that it is something romantic. The boss Uju mentions that it was she who flirted with our protagonist. Obviously, this is a joke, but the unfortunate bro played hard to get. It was very annoying. Leyen asks her boss not to invent things that did not happen. The boss Uju mockingly apologizes while eating the meat. Shinju stares at him, asks Lijun if he lives alone. She asks if he has a girlfriend. The protagonist responds that he lives alone but does not have a girlfriend either. The boss asks him if he is dating someone. Shinju is curious and asks the protagonist who it is. Is it someone she knows? Maybe it is Chuyeon, the one who works the morning shift? The protagonist does not even know the people who work the morning shift at the cafeteria. The person her boss mentions is just someone she runs into often. They haven't even exchanged numbers, so you could say it's not romantic. Shinju looks at him and sees that the protagonist's glass is empty. She asks him if he wants another round. Lee Jun answers yes. Boss Lee Jun tells them that her glass is empty too. She calls them bastards for leaving her out. She asks him to serve her quickly. Today, They will drink until they die. They will go all the way. Shinju likes the idea. The protagonist doesn't want to drink until he dies. Meanwhile, at Shinhei's music studio, she is lying on the floor, playing some music. She mentions that this isn't the music she's expecting. The progress of the song is too obvious. She wonders if she should change the structure of the pre-chorus. At that moment, her uncle enters the studio. He asks Shennai what she wants for dinner today. Seeing that she is on the floor, he asks her what she is doing on the floor of the rehearsal room. Maybe she's practicing her performance? Or maybe she's Jimi Hendrix? Shennai replies that she's not doing any of that. What does he mean by performance? She was just lying down because her compositions weren't coming out. Her uncle mentions that it's weird. It's been a while since she had a song block. Normally, she writes them without problems. Shennai tells him that sometimes it happens. You can't always do everything the way you always do. And this time, she doesn't know why, but she wanted to try to write the song more seriously. That's why it's taking her a little longer. So her uncle asks Shennai if she would like to go out to eat so she can clear her head a bit. She asks him, what about the music studio? Her uncle mentions that the guys who are practicing are her friends. So if she tells them she's going out to eat, he's pretty sure they'll take care of everything. It would be better if they go out to eat right away so she can also meet some people. Who knows, maybe she'll come up with an idea for the song. That's when Shennai accepts. The menu? They will choose along the way. Shennai agrees. Meanwhile, in another part, Boss Uju mentions that she feels lonely. Prada asks her boss what's wrong. She herself said she wanted to eat beef, and now she's complaining? Boss Uju replies that her reason for being like that is because she feels lonely. When she returns home, she will be alone again. Sometimes, she thinks that maybe she shouldn't have gotten divorced. Lejean gets upset hearing this phrase again. They had already promised not to have those kinds of regrets. Her boss apologizes for that, but now that she thinks about it, how about they go to a whiskey bar for the second round? She will treat them herself. Lejun mentions that tomorrow he has classes, so today ends here. Shinju responds that she also ate too much. The boss calls them boring. She was going to treat them to drink the expensive liquor, but if it's okay, she will go alone. Lejun asks her if she is sure about going to drink alone. Her boss responds that it will be fine. She is friends with the bar owner. Then she hopes that both of them take care of each other when they return home. Lejun is worried that his boss will faint again. If she doesn't feel well, maybe he should go for her. Shinjo looks at him with half-suspicious eyes. He takes the protagonist by the arm. She asks him where he wants to go. There is a draft beer bar that he usually goes to near here. He asks Jun if he wants to have a drink there. But according to Shinjo herself, she said that it was already full. Shinjo answers that it was because if our protagonist didn't go, she wouldn't want to go either. She wanted to talk a little more with the protagonist. So without pressure, she asks him to have just one drink, and then they will go home. The protagonist doesn't know. The truth is that he is a little tired. Shinju notices that it is a bit strange. She asks him if he is thinking about that person with whom he says he has something. In the end, it is just something. It is not even a confession or an official relationship. If our protagonist gets too serious, he will only hurt himself. That person with whom he says he has something could be just playing. It is not like that. Young doesn't like her way of thinking, even if it is like she herself says. If that person is just playing with him, he wants to be serious. When he likes someone, he prefers to be direct. Although in the end, he might break the heart, although it ends broken and crying. He just prefers to be direct. That is when he decides to drink with Shinjo, only when there are work meetings. He apologizes for not accepting his request. She somehow gets happy and tells the protagonist that he really is a good boy. He should not feel bad, she just wanted to be his real friend. With the protagonist, another time they will drink together when the boss is there. He understands, but why does she keep holding his arm? She answers that it is just a custom, she even does it with the boss. Leun responds that this makes him a little uncomfortable. Shinjo tells her that it is just a little affection. It seems that she is already completely drunk, making things more complicated. While the protagonist is walking, he crosses glances with Shennai, who is also crossing the road with her uncle. The problem is, the protagonist does not know Shennai's uncle. He does not know who the person next to her is, and Shennai does not know who the person next to the protagonist is. This is becoming a misunderstanding. She crosses the track, leaving the protagonist with doubts. He never thought he would run into Shennai on the streets, but more importantly, who was holding her shoulder? Shennai, for her part, wonders who the person holding the protagonist's arm was. She wonders if it was his girlfriend. while Lee Jun wonders if that guy was her boyfriend. But before knowing how this happened, we need to go back in time. Before they pass through the streets, Shennai told her uncle about a nearby restaurant. Her uncle tells her not to look at her phone while walking, since it is dangerous. She then asks him to grab her hand while she guides him. Her uncle calls her Tona, and meanwhile, the boss, having drinks at the bar, mentions that formality makes her feel old. But well, each one in their own way. After the meeting of both, we see a purple wave, Lejun drowning in this purple sea for some strange reason. He screams for help, but no one hears him. He did not know how to swim and ends up sinking into the sea alone. But it was just the milkshake the protagonist was preparing, stirring the straw over and over. He found himself deep in thought, taking too long. His boss scolds him for being distracted and asks him to make 2 markers for customer number 13. Leon answers that it's not ready yet. The boss asks him what the hell he is doing, if he has become a drink sharpener, and why he is taking so long. The protagonist apologizes. The boss says it doesn't matter anymore, that she'll do it herself. She tells him to take out the trash and get some fresh air. If he still acts like that when he gets back, she'll punch him in the gut. Leon apologizes and quickly finishes. He leaves the store, takes out 2 bags of garbage, still deep in thought. He was supposed to write an autobiography but couldn't write a single line. But then, Shennai and that guy, if they were hugging so sweetly, maybe they had a close relationship. For some reason, thinking about this bothered him. It bothered him. He didn't know what the hell was going on. She told him she wasn't dating anyone. Was he the only one who was serious? Was she pretending not to be dating anyone this whole time? But then, did the time they spent together mean nothing to her? Kicking the trash out of anger, thinking that Shennai was just playing with him, bothered him. He comes to his senses and cleans up the trash, but the thought of that guy being her boyfriend upsets him. His heart can't stand thinking about it. Even though he said it was okay if they just talked, now he just wants to be the only one for her. On the other hand, in Hyunjae's music studio, Shennai listens to the song she and Hyunjae composed. She is thoughtful. Hyunjae suggests mixing the music again. Their engineer stayed up all night to do it based on Shennai's mix. With a muffled tone, she replies that it's fine. Sunjae tells her that she made another version as a test. Would she like to hear it? He tried to make the afternoon part stand out more. Shennai answers coldly, "Do what you want. No need to tell me what to do." Sunjae notices her distant, distracted tone. He asks for a moment of her attention. "You can't act like this, no matter how you feel. You're supposed to do your job properly. I don't know if this is just a hobby for you, but this song is a team effort. The long nights working together matter. If we do it halfway, what will happen if all this work is ruined? I need you to be serious until the end. The burden of failure will be on my shoulders," he adds. Shennai takes these words seriously and apologizes for being cold. Hyunjae is glad she was at least sincere. As a producer, he had to say it. But this time, he asks her personally, "Has something bad happened to you? You've been looking down all day." Shennai, with a distant tone, answers that it's nothing. But remembering the protagonist next to that short-haired girl makes her thoughtful. Just thinking about it annoys her. She gets up, runs her hand through her hair, frustrated. "It's so annoying, I don't really know people." Hyunjae, a little confused, asks what she means. "People act cool in front of you, but behave differently behind the scenes. I trusted that person wouldn't deceive me. I know I'm not qualified to say that, but I can't help it." She knows she's aware of it, but it still annoys her. Hyunjae replies, "I don't know what's going on, but when you get to know someone, don't mess with them too much. The minds of others are like the bottom of a river. We don't know how they really think. Even if you think you know the depth, you don't. If you jump in thinking it's deep and it's shallow, you'll be the only one hurt. A little proper faith and fewer expectations. Too many expectations will only distort the other person." Shennai knows he's right. No matter how long she waits, others won't behave the way she wants. That scares her. That's why she hides behind her online persona. But the protagonist has been going out with her all this time. Or maybe he was just looking for something superficial. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't think that way. But somehow, it's annoying to think it's just superficial. She's very angry. She wants to let out all the words building inside her. She can't wait to see his stupid face again. Now we move to the train station. Lejun arrives at the station. He meets Shennai, standing right there, waiting for the train. It's different from usual. She's not sitting on the bench like usual. It seems like it's over. It's okay not to talk about it. Maybe it's because she has a boyfriend. But since it doesn't matter, besides, she doesn't want to be a bother. Now they will never see each other again. But unconsciously, He approached her of his own free will. He has to talk to Shennai. She asks him what he wants to talk about. Leon tells her that he knows she has a boyfriend. Shennai responds that she already told him she doesn't have a boyfriend. The protagonist tells her that he saw her with a man the other day. Maybe he wasn't her boyfriend? She begins to remember and responds that maybe that person was her uncle. The protagonist doesn't believe her. How can that be possible, that she has such a young uncle? Are you sure you're not telling an obvious lie? Do you think I'm stupid? Shennai also interrogates him since she saw him with his girlfriend. She saw him walking arm in arm with a girl last time. The protagonist starts to remember and mentions that the girl is his part-time coworker. Shennai doesn't believe him. It seems like you walk arm in arm with every girl you know. Isn't that true? Are you a Rolling Stones vocalist? Lejun answers that his coworker did it on her own. She took his arm. But then what about the date you had with that girl? Leon answers that it wasn't a date, it was just a work party. But who the hell goes to a work party alone with a girl? It seems more like a date. Lejun answers that they were in a group of 3 people, and one of them was his boss. But she ended up leaving only his coworker and him. They start arguing and saying a lot. Blah, blah, blah. That's enough. They have to stop talking. If he doesn't believe her, what does it matter? It wouldn't have made any sense. To continue talking about it will only be a waste of time. To continue talking, then that's what Shennai thinks. This is just a waste of time. The next train is arriving. Shennai replies that that wasn't what she meant. She doesn't think talking to him is a waste of time. If so, then he wants her to spend a night just with him, meaning they spend it together, just the 2 of them. He will prove to her that he is someone she can trust, meaning he will show her his true self. She is a bit confused, doesn't understand what he means by showing his true self. On the other hand, Zhifao is buying some nuggets. He doesn't know which one to choose. Maybe it will be 2 cans of beer, or maybe 4. Maybe he should stick to bottled beer? He doesn't know which choice to make. She wants to drink alcohol while watching Kim Jong-soo's new romance drama. His mind goes blank just thinking about it. Then he decides, just 1 can. She starts to think and refuses to drink. She already drank yesterday. She should leave it for today. Hangovers seem to last longer these days, and he feels like his stomach is coming out. It's sad to keep getting older. Even if you have money, you can't spend it on what you want. Someone suddenly calls the boss. Lejun, next to Shennai, greets her boss, raising her hand. Both were agitated. She asks what they are doing here. Did they miss the last train and come back? The protagonist answers that he did not come here because of that. He needs to check something first. He introduces his boss to Shennai, telling her that she is the owner of the cafe where he works part-time. Shennai, somewhat shy, greets her. The boss is delighted to meet her. Shennai is completely different from what the boss thought. This is the girl our protagonist often runs into on the train. She does not have the style she expected, but she is pretty. She is pretty sure that our protagonist is attracted to her. Lejun begins to touch on the subject of the dinner at Noe's that they had with his boss and Shinjo. The boss confirms that they did. That night, the 3 of them had dinner. They invited them both to eat meat. Lejun wants to ask about Shinju from that night. He wants his boss to confirm that he and she are just work colleagues who went out to eat that night. Boss Uju understands what the question is about. Now she understands why he is here. She answers yes. Both of them are just coworkers. That was the only time they have talked. They see each other almost every day, but they only talk for about 10 minutes when they change shifts, since one works at night and the other during the day. Now Shennai understands. In a few words, Boss Uju tells Shennai that Shinjo and the protagonist do not have a relationship. She wants her to keep that in mind. But when she saw them, they were both holding arms. The boss understands what that means. She has a very kind personality, so she is very clingy. Even when she is alone with her, she always tries to wrap her arms around her. Even when she went with the protagonist to his house, she kept crossing her arm and told him not to do it. Apparently, she has this kind of habit. She must have grown up in a family with a lot of love. She just hopes that Shennai believes what she told her. She was as sincere as possible. She looks him straight in the eyes and tells the protagonist that she will believe his words. Leon feels relieved. It seems that this got a bit tense. She asks them both if they want her to take them. The bus and the subway are closed at this time, night hours, so there's no way for both of them to get home. She pretends to drive herself and will take them. That seems great to Lejun, but Shennai can't, since she will go with the protagonist to another place. He and she have to go together. This time, it's her turn to show him the truth. The protagonist more or less understands it. Shennai apologizes to boss Uju for wasting her time. The boss has no problem with it. Shennai asks Lejun to accompany her, and the protagonist accepts. They both say goodbye to the boss. It seems that everything was solved. But now that she thinks about it, just drinking a can of beer for today, he can't miss such a comforting feeling. On the other hand, someone was playing a game of dragons and knights but ended up losing. Shennai's uncle didn't understand why this game was so difficult. What is he supposed to do to beat this difficult game? And that has a character as a partner being the strongest in the game, but he can't even use powers. Harare, Nyandi can't do it. Someone suddenly rings the bell. It's very strange that someone would knock at this time of night. She goes out to see who it is. She realizes it's Shennai and asks the guy next to her who it is. And why are they both here? Shennai wants to ask her uncle something. She wants him to confirm that she is his niece. The uncle doesn't understand what the question is about. It turns out that the person next to her thinks that her uncle was her boyfriend. This is quite sudden. What could have happened to cause such a misunderstanding? This embarrassment might be because of having been with her for a while. Shennai tells him that he is much older than her to be her boyfriend. The uncle replies that he is not that old. Shennai didn't say that he was old but older, but it's still the same. They both start arguing and arguing. Leon remembers the situation that day. It seems that both uncle and niece get along. Now he understands that Shin told the truth. That relieves and warms him. It's a little because he misunderstood things. But by the way, the uncle asks her, who is our protagonist exactly? Why did he make such a stupid mistake? Maybe Shennai is his girlfriend? Yun answers that it is not like that. Aya, who cool, he was wondering why Shennai scolds his uncle for saying that kind of nonsense. She asks him to go back inside and get some sleep. This conversation ended up here. Uncle understands, but how is he supposed to get back home? The roads are all closed. Shennai answers that they'll think of something. Maybe they'll take a taxi or walk. But at this time of night, the taxi is going to charge extra, and it's not like they can walk home. Uncle thinks about it and asks them both to wait here for a moment. Mag ze biteke IZ. He will take them in a car. Shennai knows that his uncle doesn't have a car. Uncle was thinking of borrowing a car, but who would lend their car at this time? Hello, Uncle knows some people from this neighborhood, so he will go borrow a car. They will get off when he calls them. Shennai wants to stop him, but his uncle is in a hurry, since he wants to rest. Shennai apologizes for how stubborn her uncle is. Lejun is just grateful that his uncle is helping them. The protagonist doesn't know what to say. Sashi. When he thinks about it, he feels like it was his fault. He shouldn't have dragged Shennai here. He has been running with her, causing him trouble. He's not even Shennai's boyfriend. He feels pathetic. Shennai calls him, tells him that the air tonight is a little cold. Mainai Shen. He confirms that it is since it's still spring. Then it's time to make up. They'll talk about something interesting again, as always. Shacha. He wants to be in a warm room next to Lejun to talk about fun things. Shennai extends her hand for Leyun to take it and make peace. Leyun becomes a little thoughtful. Shennai asks him what he is doing. Doesn't he want to hold her hand? Isn't he going to reconcile with her? Leon answers that it's not that, it's just that he was distracted. If he wants to reconcile with her, he apologizes for the misunderstanding. This is something that Lejun should have done, not Shennai. Resolve misunderstandings and restore the relationship. Also, change the atmosphere. Also, make the course of the conversation go in a good direction. That should be done by our protagonist. Shin apologizes for doubting him, but changing that subject aside, her hands are bigger than they seem. Lejun didn't see it that way. For him, his hand is quite normal. Is he on? Shennai says no. She thinks that Lejun's hand is much bigger than hers. They both touch each other's palms to check the size. Yes, Shennai has small hands. She tells him that it's not that she's small, it's just that Lejun is bigger than her. Lejun finds it incredible. How is it possible that she plays the guitar with those hands? Such small hands. There will be a difference between do and do, referring to the musical strings. She finds this funny. How is that about do and do? What kind of piano is this? Referring to the guitar, it is structured differently, so you can play an octave without tearing your hands. and when he plays the piano, it goes from do to mi. Lejun thinks he's not serious. Boyes. Maybe he's lying. Shennai tells him that she's serious. She'll show him later. Leon thinks that's ridiculous. He tells her that he also played the piano when he was younger. The talking. While Leon was talking, Shennai stares at him. He suggests the protagonist go inside. They wait until his uncle arrives. As usual, they will sit and talk until it's time to leave. Elias Wahapetseshin. Lee Jun agrees. That seems fine to him. But other than that, he asks Shennai what her uncle does. She tells him that he is the boss of the studio where she works. So it's a family business. She answers that she's just making a living from it. Both enter the room. They have some comfortable things inside. Hara Elay. She tells Leon that he can rest on the poof. In the meantime, she will look for something to drink. The protagonist answers okay and starts looking for something to drink. Leon examines the room and sees a poster of a band and a musical instrument. Now that he remembers, Shennai mentioned that her uncle used to be in a band. He sits down on the beanbag comfortably. He realizes that Shennai's uncle also has a game console. He wanted to have one of those. Now that he thinks about it, Shennai often talked about her uncle. Era. That means that she must have come here to play often. He asks himself what Shennai was like when she was younger. As Shennai looks through the fridge, he notices that there are quite a few food delivery projects. Somehow, Shennai must have been even prettier when she was younger, maybe. And that she may have even been incredibly popular. Lejun wants to see pictures of when she was a student. Shennai appears with a can in her hand to give it to the protagonist. She was searching and found something to drink, but he should know that it is warm apple juice. Leon still thanks her for the drink. She suddenly sits down next to our protagonist. Leon asks her why they are sitting so close to each other. She tells him that there is nothing they can do since there is only one beanbag in this room. That's when Leon decides to sit down on the other side so that Shennai can sit comfortably. Shennai asks him to just stay still. It's more comfortable to lean on each other's shoulders. The beanbag is somewhat old because the cushioning is not as good as before. That's when Leon decides to return to her side to do what she asks. They both bump into each other very close. She asks him how he feels. Mesmonum tak. Is he more comfortable? Isn't he? Leon answers, yes, that's right. Shennai tells him that this beanbag is old, so he can't keep his balance if he sits alone in it. Sometimes, when he comes to his uncle's house to play, he always sits like this. Leon is clear about it this time too. Somehow, he feels like he's been led. Tenpok huotom. In the middle of the night, he also brought him here because of him. He has to do something responsibly, not only to ease the awkward atmosphere, but also so that the two of them can get a little closer. Shennai asks him why he looks at her like that. Saka. He answers that it's nothing, it just seems that Shennai is very close to her uncle. When he saw them before, they seemed to be very close, as if they were friends. She answers yes, they are both very close. Her uncle took care of her when she was little. Shennai has an older brother, but because of the age difference, he didn't have time to hang out with her. Since he was studying and her parents worked too much, she was often alone. Back then, her uncle would visit her and play the guitar for her. Chatamaima. Her uncle used to be very handsome, but now he looks like a total old man. Lee Yoon says her uncle still looks handsome even now. She tells him no, since her uncle stays up late playing all night. Now his eyes are full of wrinkles, making him look tired. Azayan says that's not a big deal, but now he has something to ask her. He heard her uncle call her by her name affectionately. Adenyaboti, she tells him that's normal. Why is he asking? Lejun, too, wants to call her by her name affectionately. Since they're close, isn't that possible? Shennai doesn't know. She prefers how they talk now. But, on the other hand, Leon doesn't agree. Why does he always have to do just what Shennai likes? He also wants to do what she likes for once. Shennai doesn't understand why he's acting like this suddenly. He looks like a puppy throwing a tantrum, and it's unnecessarily cute. That's when she answers, okay, you can call me that, but only 10 times. It can't be more than 10. Lijun gets happy and agrees right away. That's when he starts calling her Han instead of Shennai. Hein, Hein, he repeats so many times. It seems like he's already gone over 10 times. She asks him what he's doing since he's gone over 10. It turns out Lee Yoon wasn't counting at all. He just did it to annoy her. Didn't she want to hear it? Hey, Sor. She answers that instead of disliking it, she just felt embarrassed. Since things are like that now, it's her turn. She starts calling him Yonha repeatedly. She even starts singing while calling his name playfully. Being called that way makes him blush a little. He asks Shennai why she keeps going. Yeah, she already repeated his name more than 10 times. She tells him she just wanted to call him that way, Mwandijo, like he did himself. Or did Lee Yoon not want to hear it? This question leaves him speechless. A tells her it's not like that. Now he should know how she felt when he called her that way. Ma, it's embarrassing after all. Lejun doesn't understand why he feels this way. Maybe he's a pervert? All she did was call him by his name. Yet his heart is beating quite fast. She doesn't understand why he's so excited. She never thought this would affect him so much. Shennai starts to think a little. Piff. She remembers what she talked about with Hyun Yae. When you meet people, don't get too involved with them. The minds of others are like the bottom of a river. Even if you want to know the depth, you can't know exactly. And if the river you jump into is shallower than you thought, you'll get hurt. So it's better to meet people with low expectations. If you expect too much, you'll distort the other person. They've been hurt before, and they don't want to be hurt again. They don't want to go through the same damage once more. But somehow, tonight, just for tonight, she feels like moving forward. She tells Leanne that she has something to say. The truth is, she was betrayed once. This leaves the protagonist full of questions. What does she mean by betrayal? For that, we need to know about Shennai's past. In a memory of Shinge, we see her sitting playing the guitar. While being recorded by someone, the girl with the camera calls her name. So she looks at the camera. Shanghai asks her who is the camera girl. She tells him he can call her whatever she wants right now. She's recording. Shanghai asks if she's really recording now. She doesn't even put on her makeup and is a little embarrassed. The camera girl tells her that everything is fine. Shinai is pretty even without makeup, but with that said, she asks her to hurry. She wants Shanghai to do anything since this video is going to be uploaded to TikTok again. When Shanghai hears that it was going to be uploaded to TikTok, she mentions that it's been a while since they posted a video to their account, so she would start right away. The camera girl asks her to sing a song that people, she doesn't want her to sing that weird song in a foreign language that only Shanghai knows. Shinjae is disappointed since she thought she would sing anything. So she'll sing what her friend wants her to sing to. The camera girl laughs and tells her to sing a song that people probably know. Another girl comments that Shanghai looks pretty cute, a song that people know. Senhai starts to think, maybe that would be good. Then what will the camera girl sing? The camera says, okay, now I'm recording. Shinhai starts playing the melody with her guitar and sings the song in front of the camera. Her 3 friends stay to listen to the song that Shinhai is playing. She was having fun doing this with her friends in her middle school days, but we have to go back to the present. So, are you telling me that you just got betrayed? Is what Leon asks. This happened when I was in middle school. From the moment I entered, there were friends that I became close with. However, she doesn't know how she should tell him. It's a little complicated to describe what happened. It seems that she still doesn't have the courage to tell him. She thinks that Lejun might not like this. He tells her that it's not necessary to go into details today. You can just talk about what you can say. He'll hear the rest when she wants. There's no hurry, but she still wants to tell him. At first, they were good friends. They were the first friends she met when she entered school. Shanghai also played the guitar back then. The fact that she studied music made everyone support her. So even if others don't know it, at least these girls, Shanghai believed that they already supported each other. *S dreams. All of them were by her side because they listened to her song, but then she found out the truth. Nothing of what she thought about her was real. Her so-called friends did something that would mark her to this day. She had heard everything she found out, the whole truth. They reposted the video on social media and wrote something while posting the video. She doesn't know why, but they just pretended to be helpful and friendly in front of her, just smiling and saying nice things. And behind her back, they even swore the guitar looks ugly. The song is bad. She'll probably take her clothes off and dance later. All the comments were critical. The worst of all was that most of them were from her friends. They were laughing while looking down on her. They called her boastful just for making music. They didn't even consider her talent. They said that her life would be a failure. This is a pretty hard shock to hear. Sometimes she gets carried away by negative thoughts. What does this person who claims to be close to me really think? Do they think that I have a failed life? Maybe they are laughing at me. Those kinds of thoughts make her very anxious. Sometimes it gives her afraid to say that she is Lun Afternoon. Leong heard quite clearly that pitiful look of Shinhye. He has to do something and not just sit idly by. Leon takes her hand and thanks her. Even though those things happened, she had the courage to tell him first. He thanks her for telling him all those delicate things that Shanghai kept inside. He confesses to Shanghai that he likes to go out with her lately, since they can talk about Low Afternoon and she can have other conversations about music with Shanghai. Again, he thanks her for having the courage to tell him. This is a true and honest thought about Shanghai. She is speechless. She starts to think about Long, the kind of person who is someone quite kind, someone who is open to express what they feel, someone who gives their opinion from the bottom of his heart, someone who is willing to listen. The kind of Leon she just saw is someone who can be trusted. He is even passionate about his music band that makes him a little funny. She can say that Hugh feelings are completely reflected on his face. Did you say face? Ha asked. She answers yes, she did. Reading everything from his facial expressions, emotions come out through facial expressions. So he thought, if this person is lying, I'll find out everything. Lejun never thought that was real. He thought he had a poker face. What does she mean by poker? It seems like Leon is trying to be funny. Leon tells her that it's not like that. Even his boss told him that he treats customers very coldly. Shanghai asks him if it wasn't just because he didn't want to work. Leon never thought that was the case. Then, do you want to do a test, is what Shanghai suggests. Leon asks her what does she mean by tests. Suddenly, Shanghai grabs him by the arm. He asks Leon how he is feeling right now. She can guess just by looking at his face for Leon. This was quite sudden. Shanghai starts to get closer and closer to know what she is thinking. Leon gets nervous. He wants her to at least wait a second. This situation is dangerous. The distance is too short. His arm can feel Shanghai's beating heart. She asks him why he turns his face. If he does that, then she won't be able to take the test. She asks him to at least look at her for a moment. Something catches her attention and she looks down. Shanghai wonders what that is. She turns quite red, seeing that Leon has Nomthen straight. Now that she thinks about it, her uncle must be downstairs. She'll go check and call him Lejung. Doesn't understand why she got like that. But right now, one thing is, for sure, Lejung really is an honest person. And what does that mean? What did he mean by being very honest? Now that she realizes she looks under his crotch, it seems that Shanghai meant that now he's really screwed. He forgot he was wearing baggy pants now. He understands why Shanghai got excited. Shinja stays waiting outside. She only hugged him for a few seconds, and the result ended like that. She is impressed in many ways. The uncle takes them in the car. Leon still can't forget what happened at the house. Shanghai also can't forget what she saw. The uncle asks them, why don't you talk? Did you have a fight again? Shanghai says, that's not it, it's just that. But by the way, who did he borrow the car from? Uncle replies that he borrowed it. The Akapora from Chul owns a bar and stays up late. Shinhai asks him if he used to play bass. His uncle replies that he does. This car would be great for luggage. They should borrow it. Don Chul. For the summer, they can use it when they go to the rock festival. They will have to rent the car then. They can pay Chul to rent it to them. Uncle asks Li Yun if he knows about Long Afternoon. He replies that he does. Do you want to know if he has any plans to go somewhere this summer? Li Yun replies that he doesn't. He doesn't have any plans yet. He then invites him to go to the rock festival. Li Yun asks him what's this about a rock festival. Shinhai tells him that it's simply a rock festival. It's a festival where musicians from different countries get together and play for 2 days and 2 nights. You can camp next to them, drink, do stuff, and hang out. Her uncle is going there as a staff member, and she will also go to hang out with him if Li Yun wishes to go. He wants her to let her know. Uncle says they will listen to Kasabi's song to warm up. Shanghai wants to start with the Korean band Sikagel. They were there last year. She is sick of listening to them. Shinha listened to Kasabi so many times, she wants to listen to Green Sunset instead. Uncle says, that sounds great, Leon. Thinking about summer, probably won't have much time to relax this year, since she will be preparing for his job. But he would like to be able to make it to that rock festival this summer just to hang out with Shanghai. We go to the next morning. We are at the coffee shop. Layun walks into the store and tells his boss that she is already here to do the shift change boss. Yu welcomes him, asks, if yesterday did he arrive home safely? Apparently the boss had also told this to Shinjo. Leiyun, somewhat paraplegic, answers yes. For some reason he feels that it is going to be somewhat annoying. He enters the workers' room to change and returns to his post. Boss Yu gives him a glass of soda for him to drink. Leiyun, somewhat hesitant, accepts it and asks his boss why she is giving him this if it is not his break time yet. Boss Yu says that it is a new recipe that she has released, asks him to drink it so that he can give her his opinion on the flavor, and also wants him to tell her the story. He wants to know what happened after he saw each other that night. As she helped Leijun, does he have the right to know at least that much? Leijun, somewhat nervous, tells him that they both reconciled normally, and that's how it ended. Shinjo was hoping something more would happen. Not everyone can reconcile so easily. There must have been some fights, and also some romantic tension, isn't that right? Leijun asks Shinjo if she wasn't gonna go home. Shinjo, out of curiosity, also wants to hear the story. Leiyun, somewhat annoyed, orders her to go home. She has no reason to know anything about this. Shinjo laughs and tells her that she already heard everything, but leaving that aside, Leon asks Shinjo that from now on he doesn't hug anyone. Other people could misinterpret him for no reason. He wants him to be clear about that. She remains silent for a moment. Leiyun asks her if she heard what he said. She answers, yes sir. She just understood everything. Leiyun gets offended by his way of speaking, but now that she remembers, she has something to say to him. She mentions Jun that she had received an order before changing shifts, but she hasn't processed it yet. She apologizes. She asks him if he could do it for her just this once. For Leiyun, this is sudden. How can he say that? Now Shinjo apologizes and leaves, saying that he will see him tomorrow. In any case, he will just do this prepared and ready. He calls customer number 21. The 4 drinks he just ordered are ready. He apologizes to the customer. Did she wait too long? He gave her additional cookies as a courtesy. The girl thanks him. Leon feels relieved. Everything went well. He almost got a complaint from the customer. The girl from the cafe called his friend Arna to give him his drink. Leon, upon hearing this name, turned his gaze in an instant. He wants to check if what he just heard is true, and it turns out that it was her. This white-haired girl was the girl our protagonist previously liked. It's been a long time since he last saw her. Boss Yu asks her, what's wrong? Did those people talk bad about him behind his back? Leon replies that he didn't believe it was a person he knew because they had almost the same names, so he just took a look. The boss understands. She tells him that she will go to the bathroom when she gets back. She wants him to tell her more. The protagonist replies, okay. He stands firmly in his place, thinking it over. It doesn't matter if Arna's an older sister or not. He doesn't have any attachment to her. He just felt a little happy upon hearing a familiar name. There are no more emotions than that. Memories come flooding back. He simply turned his head unintentionally. That person means nothing to him, although he really doesn't know that exactly. Suddenly, a customer calls him. He wants to place an order. Leon is surprised and serves him. At that moment, a few days pass. They are on the train tracks. Leon sighs, somewhat exhausted. Today, there were also final exams. He needs to stop by the night market on his way home and buy something to eat since there is nothing to eat for breakfast tomorrow. Since he ran out of toilet paper, he will buy more shampoo and detergent as well, and also something else. He doesn't know. He feels quite tired. He will go to the market later and think about it. For now, he needs to rest. Maybe he feels this way because he has been very busy lately, or maybe it's because he's nervous about preparing for the job interview. Somehow he feels tired. We see a dream where Lejean is seen with Arna, the white-haired girl. The protagonist calling his sister asks her why she ran away from the welcoming party for the new students. She disappeared halfway there, and everyone was looking for her. She answers that she simply doesn't like noisy places. It bothers her to talk about meaningless things. Leon tells her that he still has to make friends with people in her career and also exchange numbers. Arna asks him why. Leon answers that otherwise he will continue going alone. She will also eat alone. If things are like this, then it would be good for Leon to be by her side. This proposal is somewhat sudden for the protagonist. It seems that she is serious. She asks Lejean if he wants a cigarette. The protagonist stares at the cigarette for a moment and apparently decides to take it, but suddenly Shinha wakes him up, calling him by his name. Leiyun, somewhat exalted, asks if he heard wrong. He answered in this way since he was still asleep. Shennai asks him if he was asleep. Leyoon answers that yes, he is supposed to. Yeah, he just closed his eyes and rested for a moment. He just had that dream again because suddenly he's dreaming about the old days. He feels awkward for no reason when he's next to Shanghai, but it's not her fault. But Leyoon's himself. Already awake, he greets Shanghai. He asks if she wants to watch something fun. This is a foreign music app that she used recently on the main screen. Long Afternoon was on the screen among the top 40 indie songs. Shinha is surprised. She asks, "What is this? Is it real?" Leon answers her, "Yes, it's on a playlist that recommends various indie music from abroad. Long Afternoon is also there. She took a screenshot in case it disappeared. It seems like people are now recognizing the potential of Long Afternoon. It would be great if it continued like this while Leyoon was speaking. Shinha stares at him with a smile. The protagonist asks her, "What's wrong? Has there been a flight or something?" Shinha answers that it wasn't that, but that he was enjoying the expression on his face. It seems that Leyoon is the happiest. When talking about Long Afternoon, the protagonist asks him if that is, but well, it is true that the music of Long Afternoon is good leaving. That subject aside, Shihai wants to know if our protagonist always carries her phone with him. Leyoon answers her yes. But what is the reason for her question? Shinhai tells him that people who live alone also carry it to the bathroom. They could get trapped if they don't carry it. Leon, hearing this, mentions that it is attractive, so he asks him not to forget and to make sure to carry it with him. Leon, somewhat carefree, is clear. But why does she suddenly say that? Have you heard of any incident or accident somewhere? The next train was about to arrive. Now we head to the protagonist's house. He gets out of the bathroom after taking a shower. His body feels fresher now. He must organize the things he just bought today. He needs to fill the refrigerator a little for once. It seems that this will go to the freezing storage, he wonders, if Shihei won't come visit him again. If she comes, then they could see each other again. He starts to think a little. Suddenly, something comes to mind before. Shihai asked him if he had a cell phone. Does that mean she was asking for his number so they can exchange contacts? Leyoon really is a complete idiot. How come he didn't notice the hint? The next time they meet, he will definitely ask for her number. When he checks his phone, he realizes something. His eyes couldn't believe. What he was seeing is this, an Instagram live broadcast of Long Afternoon? But why so suddenly? Has this never happened before? This broadcast hasn't even been scheduled and has never posted real photos. Besides, is it going to be a live singing performance at the moment? We are not clear on that. Shinhei was about to start playing, but before continuing, we have to go back a few hours before Shanghai arrived at the piddies of the train. We are in one of the study rooms. Shinja was playing the guitar with her musical band, who were composed of 2 guitarists and a drummer. The name of this drummer is Yang. She is 20 years old. He specializes in practical music, and the drummer is the drummer of Long Afternoon. The music was so intense that it made Sekai sweat. She was putting all her feelings into this song. When it finished, she tells her friends that today's practice is over, so they will keep this feeling going to record the new song. The drummer asks when they will meet up with Hyunai. Wan tells him that they will teach in the studio a day before filming, since it is a difficult song and Jong is clear about it. In the case of Ki-hoon, he tells Shanghai that he will leave his pedalboard behind. Wan calls Shinhai. She asks him what's wrong. Why did you suddenly decide to do a live show when you created the band Long Afternoon? It has been agreed that they wouldn't do an indirect performance. Yua doesn't care if the band plays live or not, as long as each of their schedules don't overlap. Even so, she would like to know the reason. She tells him that's because we would have to go back a few days before we are in Hyunai's studio. The music of Shanghai Hyunai was playing the one they both composed. Shanghai liked the sound of the music. It was quite amazing. The outcome of each rhythm in the music makes her happy. She is very impressed. It is completely different from what she had heard before. She really likes Hyun is happy. He already knew that she would like it. He left the mixing and monitoring to a completely different studio, as this studio's setup is geared towards the genre that Hyunjai primarily works in. There were limitations, so he asked the studio, which was primarily dedicated to rock music, if they would use Long Afternoon's song as a reference, and they did it in one day. She, being stunned, understands using her music as a reference. The song is exactly as she thought. Shinhai asks him, when will this be released? Jun tells him in late June and early July. As soon as the album cover comes out, he will arrange the schedule. And who is the one covering the album is what Shanghai asks. Hyunai tells him that the digital artist from our label will draw it beautifully. The character Ukin from Shanghai will be included. Knowing that Shanghai likes it, he says, so what he is trying to say is, why don't we a live broadcast together? But if it's live, do you mean the recording of the live clip we talked about before? She said, Junai answers that it is. So he has been thinking about several concepts for the video. He shows Shanghai a video to see. They are an Icelandic band called Rose of Victory. During a performance at the concert, a fabric curtain is placed in front of the stage and a video is projected on it for the opening. Shanghai knows this band. It's her favorite band. Hyunjae laughs. He was starting to guess that's because this band is post-rock. What he was thinking is that Shinhai also does the live behind the fabric curtain like this, then only her silhouette will appear and the face won't appear. It would be more or less something like this. The lighting is just a silhouette against the curtains with backlighting. She starts to think a little to see if this is a good choice, but does it not normally cost more to produce than a live clip? She wants to know why he is doing this. This is not even Hyunjae's regular album. That's because he wants to invest more in this song, because it has come out well and above all, because he believes that fans will like it. When you perform, you can feel the fans' expressions, the cries of the people who love the music, the honest feelings of those who like it, whether it's a Hyundai. If it's locked up at that moment and you go out as emotions rise, you become more humble. These people's expectation for next time will be to not want to disappoint them. So he's just giving his best. It seems like he's getting a little cheesy. Music can only exist if there's someone listening to it. Of course, he also hopes this song will sell well. Profit is important, is what Shanghai says. Anyway, if Shanghai is going to do it, they have to decide before the end of this week. Shinhai is clear about it. Turns out, Hunai is someone who cares a lot about his fans. She thought he was a person who only dedicated himself to music and didn't communicate on social media at all. Having heard that fans would like it, she remembers Leeun, but what does that mean? Even she who has never performed live before, she more or less understands a little. She understands the feeling of being loved by a fan. So she makes a decision and tells Hunai that she will do a live video like Hyunjae said, however, about the concept he just mentioned. She wants to include the concept she has in mind. Also, she asks Hyunjae if it's okay. He answers, of course. Then he will set a date and send him a message. Shanghai is clear about it. And that's how we return to the present. Shanghai had told Yuan all of this, so it was Hunai who convinced her. She answers yes. Seeing that she is putting in effort and developing the concept also made her want to give it a try. Well, in the end, that's how it ends. Shanghai didn't hear him and asks him what Jian said. He tells her it's nothing, he was just talking to himself, but by the way. He asks Shanghai if she will be okay. This will be her first concert. Even if it is a live performance or without an audience, he is pretty sure that she will be nervous, because all the filming staff will be watching. If she keeps making mistakes, she will become a nuisance. She must make sure to do enough mental training, and that is how Shinhai heads for the train tracks. She never thought this would be her first concert. When she was in middle school, she would only boast about her long-term skills. Now, what should she do next time she practices? Should she ask her uncle to get in front of her? While walking, she finds Leeun asleep. Why is he sleeping in a place like this? Should she let him sleep until the train arrives? She knows that she doesn't. She had to wake him up because he might catch a cold. She touches Leeun's back to wake him up, and we go back to the same scene as before. She asks him if he fell asleep. He answers, yes, I guess. So he simply closed his eyes and rested for a moment. This caused her a little grace. Since Leeun is a student who is looking for a job, it will probably be difficult. She has never looked for a job before, so she doesn't know, but she hopes she can be of help to Leeun. Long afternoon is the only thing that makes her be around him. Suddenly an idea comes to her. She asks Leeun if he usually carries his phone with him. To this he answers yes, but why? People who live alone carry a phone with them, even to go to the bathroom. If you do something wrong, you could end up locked up. Leeun, hearing this, mentions that it's scary, so she just hopes he doesn't forget it. He must always carry it with him. And that's how we get back to the present time. The people who are in this live aren't many as expected. Most of the audience seem to be foreigners. Maybe it's because it's midnight, but this is the first concert in the history of Loon Afternoon. It's really the best. He can't believe he didn't miss this. The only thing shown on the screen is the outside scenery now. We go back to Shanghai, who was in her room. Although the house is soundproof at night, you have to sing in a low voice. She'll play the ukulele just to support the tonality. Surely, Mr. Leon must be watching the live. She doesn't know what his email ID is, so she has no way to check. But she's pretty sure he'll be watching. Clearly, she's sure he's listening to her. This is the first real Long After No concert. The music is quite enchanting. It's like the two of them are in the same room, listening to the music they both love. The night in the city is bright and yet silent. All the neighbors in the area are resting, some watching television and others doing anything. In Shanghai's room, she was playing the ukulele. The song went like this. Beyond the sky, desolate from a day, a black star like you is present. You are like a solitary breath among the stars, and one of the black stars is you. Your trajectory, although uninspiring, I always flow for you. The speed of the seasons is solar inertia. However, the deep memories I found must be there. I am observing you repeatedly. We are aligning our mutual attraction, surpassing the speed of light. We had an exciting resonance because all this repeats. And we are both here. We are here because it repeats. Leon found this song incredible. It seems Shingai expressed what she felt the most. The broadcast ends with a thank you for watching. Leon can't believe it was just one song, and it's already too short. He also wanted to hear Blue Kite, but now that he thinks about it, he should have recorded the broadcast. The live replay is not yet available, and he can't rewatch the broadcast video. This is complete bad word, but well, why did she suddenly do a concert at this hour? Is there some kind of trap scene in this? Or was it simply because she was bored? He really doesn't know, but it was really good. He feels happy to have seen the live broadcast. It's truly the best thing that has happened to him in his life. How could it be otherwise? Long After didn't become a live show. It's perfect just with the ukulele, without any band accompaniment, and it wasn't even artificial intelligence. This made him very, very happy. Shanghai will have also seen the broadcast. He just hoped she didn't miss it. Then they would both have more to talk about. And also because it would be a shame to enjoy this joy alone. Meanwhile, in Shanghai's house, inside her room, she was completely red, lying on her bed. She doesn't know what she should do. She feels like she's gonna die from exhaustion. The tone and rhythm of the song were strange to her. It seems everything was a disaster. Singing in front of people you don't know is embarrassing. She's trembling like crazy. Other musicians must have experienced the same thing. Maybe they also went through something similar. It's the first time she feels so nervous. Her voice didn't come out quite right. She couldn't sing the way she wanted to. For everyone who watched her live broadcast, she just hopes it was a good memory. And she just hopes that for Legion, it was a good first time for him. The following night, we are at the train tracks. Leon arrives happily, making the sound of a song with his mouth. He wonders if he will be able to see Shanghai today. When we meet, it seems we will have an explosion of fan talk after so long. And when they meet, he definitely needs to get her contact information from her phone. Then, when they get home, they will talk about Low Afternoon and other music, and they can continue talking so casually. Suddenly, Shanghai surprises him from behind, acting like a ghost. This surprises Li Jian. "Since when have you been behind me?" is what he asks her. She tells him she's been at the station entrance. She asks if he slept well last night. He looked very tired when he met her at the station. Leon, remembering the previous night, asked Shanghai if by any chance she saw Loon Afternoon's live stream. Shanghai, pretending not to know anything, mentions that she hadn't realized Loon After had done a live broadcast. Leon tells her that last night, there was a live performance of Dark Planet on Instagram at 2 in the morning. Shanghai mentions, "That's amazing." She herself assumes she didn't see it because she went to bed early at night. Leon tells her that's a shame. She asks how the live broadcast was. Was it good? Leon, with a mocking smile, starts to remember. He tells Shanghai that it was strange. She wasn't expecting this answer. The sound quality wasn't very good because it was a cell phone microphone, and the singing volume was too low. Shanghai, with tears in her eyes, understands. Now she understands that for Lun it was strange, but at the same time it was very good. It's something like if a friend suddenly called you in the middle of the night and started singing a song. It felt quite intimate and warm, and since it was night, Lun Nocturno sang it carefully so it wouldn't sound like a technically sung song. She liked it even more because it seemed like he sang it with all his heart. That's why people weren't satisfied with the sound source. He himself could feel that he was going to see a live show. He wishes Long After Non could do another live show. He really hopes that happens. Shanghai, when she hears this, gets a little red. She also hopes that will definitely happen, but now that Lagun remembers, he has something to tell her. He asks why they don't exchange contact information. That way, they can both inform each other about Long After Non and can notify each other when there is another live broadcast on Instagram. They can also talk about other music. Shai hesitates for a moment. She herself could give him her number, but she wants to know one thing beforehand. Will it be by phone or a message, the way they are going to contact each other? It's just that she's a little scared. Layun asks her, why? Does she have a phobia of phones? She tells him that she feels a little uncomfortable when she can't see the other person's face. That's why she only uses her cell phone for work-related matters or to talk to her parents. Bad memories from her past come to her. She remembers when they spoke badly of her behind her back just because they couldn't see their true faces, especially when they only talked through text. She read a note very pressured. So how about they just say goodnight? What does she mean by goodnight? Layun tells her that he is always worried about her. He doesn't know if Shinhai got home safe and sound since they always meet very late at night. Shanghai says that would be fine. She is also curious to know if Lejun got home okay. Single quote. Now we are in Shanghai's residential area. Inside her apartment, she was drinking a glass of water. Next week, the live recording of the song she collaborated on with Hyunai will end. Right now, she needs to focus again on Loon Afternoon. There are also a lot of new song demos piled up. She checked her phone that was charging. Maybe she received a message from Leeun. He must have gotten home before her. She lies down on the bed to check her message inbox. It seems the message did arrive. Leeun asks if she got home safe and sound. He includes his photo so she can see that he arrived home. She wonders why he suddenly sent her a selfie of himself. She writes to him and asks why he sent a photo of his face. Leeun replies that she herself told him that she gets anxious when she can't see the other person's face. Shanghai can't believe that Leeun took it so seriously. Shanghai starts laughing out loud. That's why he sent her a selfie. It's very funny. She never meant for him to send her a photo of himself every time he got home, but at the same time, she likes seeing how seriously Lagoon took it. She really doesn't know how to take selfies. Meanwhile, in Leeun's apartment, he checks his phone to see if he received any messages. Shanghai sent him a photo of herself and says that she also has a face. She hopes Leeun sleeps well. Leeun, seeing this photo, mentions that she looks beautiful. She is really pretty, and he can't help but get excited. He also says goodnight to Shanghai and decides to save Shanghai's photo in his gallery. We move on to the next day. Shanghai, who is walking with the phone in her hand, stares at Li Jun's photo for a few moments. No matter how much she looks at it, she really can't take a selfie. With his camera skills, she believes he can't take a good photo of anything. Instead, Leeun is good at taking photos of himself. The next time they see each other, Leeun will have to teach her how to take selfies, and when she learns, she will send him a better photo again. Suddenly, Kijun surprises her by appearing behind her. Shinhai gets scared and covers her phone. Kijun asks her why she's surprised every time she sees him. Shanhai tells him that's because he always plans to surprise her. Kijun tells her that he didn't try to do that. In any case, they should go inside. They should have already installed all the equipment. Shanghai understands, and Kijun asks her why she brought all those heavy things. Did she bring any clothes for filming? Shinhai replies that she did. Something more or less like that is inside this bag. Leeun's friends start to doubt if Shinha will be okay with the filming. They enter the production cast. Hyunjae is meeting with one of the directors of the cast to discuss some important matters. Shanghai greets Hyunai. He realizes that Shanghai is already here. He tells her that he is setting up his instrument and waiting, as there is a sound check right now. And next to him is director Joyna, who prepared the stage for today. She is 28 years old, a media artist, has her own independent creative group, and is the representative of Sankleity. Shanghai greets her and says she looks forward to working with her. Anna also lowers her head and greets her. It seems Shanghai's guitar case is also leaning at a 90 angle. That must weigh a lot. Janai tells Shanghai to give Ina a good impression. This person is truly a genius in multimedia art. Ina, when she hears genius, asks him not to say nonsense. Is he saying that just to give her a discount on his fee? In any case, she tells Shanghai that before starting filming, she has one last thing to check with Lo Afternoon. She said that showing faces in the video is absolutely prohibited, right? Shinha replies yes. That is the particular concept. She asks Ina to please avoid showing her face. Ina doesn't fully understand it. She will definitely put this on her NG checklist, but it's really a shame. You shouldn't judge an artist by their face, but to be honest, she has an image, like a painting. She thinks it would look great if it were recorded on video. The silhouette stage will look great because she even used the project video she made. But since they are doing it live, it would be better if she could show appearances. But since that's not possible, it's a pity. Now that Shinha remembers, she wants to ask him something. Ina asks her, "What is it?" Shinjae has prepared something and was wondering if she could use this today. Ina wants to take a look at what it is. Anything that isn't too reflective will do. Seeing what Shanghai had brought, she is speechless. It was a cap made of dried leaves with 2 branches. Kijun asks her, "What is that? Did she make it herself?" Shinhai tells him that she made it little by little. While working, she put some flower leaves on the cap. The title of this song is Ecosystem, so she created this to give the impression that nature itself was singing a song. Ina still can't believe this is happening. She tells her that the idea is good, but there is a lack of quality in that cap. Shanghai knows that the cap looks a bit sloppy. Although Shanghai is good at drawing, this type of accessory should be made by experts. Shanghai knows that's true, but she brought it anyway, since she made it herself. Ina tells Shanghai that they will try it, although it is an accessory with a lack of determination. Perhaps it won't matter since only the silhouette will be seen anyway. She will turn on the lights, so she must stand behind the curtain. Shanghai understands. Hyunai asks Ina if she thinks it's okay for Shanghai to use that accessory in the recording. Ina replies no, because it is of a quality equivalent to a children's party hat. But since she requested it, she supposes she will monitor it once. In fact, that's not all. There would be no way for it not to be charming. The fluttering of an artist trying to create something new is impressive and striking, of course. However, if the result is not good, it's like the fluttering of a butterfly's wings during a typhoon. She tells Hyunjae to monitor her first, as it might be better if he gives his opinion. Hyunjae understands. Shinha prepares and plays the guitar behind the curtain. The sound of the song is dazzling. The emotions that Shanghai conveys through this song impress everyone. Everyone remains focused on one thing. But as Shinha played the guitar, the song goes like this. We are both constantly breathing. Roots extend even to the cracks under the sunlight. 100 winters, 1,000 summers, the eternal story that you and I, right, we shine like rough waves. You and I must be from another world. The song was quite melodic. Ina is speechless when she hears this. It is the first time she has witnessed something like this. Haijay becomes happy realizing that Ina likes the music. For Junai, the song is okay. He asks Ina what she thinks. Ina tells him it's not bad, since it's just a silhouette. She tells Junai to smoke a cigarette. Meanwhile, he can do the sound check. It seems Ina is not being sincere. Outside the cast, Ina was sitting while taking a puff from her vape, excited. She can't believe the band's name is Loon Afternoon. It was definitely Loon Afternoon. There are a few photos on her Instagram, but she also likes the photos she posts. She just hopes Shanghai releases her first album quickly because not releasing an album is a tyranny for listeners. It's a curse for fans. She really can't help but get excited. It's been a long time since she last saw her. The feeling of being absorbed by an artist you meet for the first time feels like being in high school when she first saw a movie. Even if there is no money and it's difficult, that's what art is about. The excitement of creating something new, the excitement of meeting new, talented artists. On the other hand, in the cafe where Lun works, he was eating while taking a break. He checks his phone patiently and stares at Shanghai's photo. She is really pretty. He feels that Shanghai is good at taking photos of herself. Is it because her face is small? He already knew she was an attractive person. It's better to see her like this in pictures so he can contemplate her face for a long time. He wishes he had a million images like this. Boss Wu tells Lejun that his break time is over. She is going to place a package order around here, so she asks Lejun to please be attentive to the cash register. Lejun replies, okay, she can take her time. He just hopes to meet Shihai again, and then receive more photos of her. Does anyone want to place an order? Lejun asks him what he wants to eat. The boy says he wants a chocolate cake. Lejun asks him if he wants a drink. The customer replies yes. Then he will notify him with a vibrating bell when it's ready. Does anyone else want to place an order? Liyun asks this other person for their order, but when our protagonist sees her, he freezes. Arna tells him that this feels nostalgic. The last time she came here, she was a bit hesitant. Liyun didn't know what to say. He didn't know why she was here. He still remembers that time when they both talked and she gave him her cigarette, passing on her habits. Leon asks Arna why she is here. Hi. After Arna entered the Lejun cafe, Lejun asked his Nuna why she was here. Didn't she go to work at a company near the station? Arna replied that she changed companies a while ago. Now the company is right here, in front of the Mixo store building. Mixo asked Lejun how long he had been working here. Is he in his 3rd or 4th year of university? When did he go back to classes? Lejun cut off all her questions since he simply wanted her to place her order. He asked to talk to people while working. Arnold said that he is quite cold, even though it's been a long time since they last saw each other. But, well, he came here today just to see her face. However, since Lejung insists, he wants her to tell him what's the most delicious thing in the store. She asks for him, recommendation. Lejung gets annoyed since she knows he's just playing with her. Even so, she tells him that the most delicious thing in the store is the cranberry yogurt. Arna knows that product is the most expensive in the store. Is he a businessman? He simply wants her to choose anything quickly. She also has to prepare drinks for other guests. It's then that he orders a hot chocolate. Lejun should already remember what his favorite drink is. He has the taste of an elementary school student, so he asks Lejun to make it super sweet. Young, somewhat disinterested, replies that he doesn't remember it well. It seems he has no intention of getting along with her. Arna asks him not to joke. She knows he still remembers everything. Lejun replies that no, he really doesn't remember. It's been several years since they went to school together, and that's why he forgot everything. But Lejun remembered that the company she joined was in front of the station, which means Lejun didn't forget her completely. It seems Lejun made a mistake by speaking earlier. Arna knows that she hurt our protagonist a little, but it's a bit disappointing that he treats her so coldly. Back then, they were both very young. Now a lot of time has passed, just like when they spent time together having fun. At the very least, she wants him to greet her once, otherwise she's really gonna cry. Leon continues to evade this conversation and tells Arna that her hot chocolate order is ready. He thanks her for her purchase and hopes she enjoys it. She at least becomes happy upon hearing this. She laughs and asks what's wrong with that expression. Is he really angry? Leo replies that of course he is, he told her before. He shouldn't be talking to customers while working. So if she's done looking at his face, he asks her to leave quickly. Other customers are watching, and the store owner is behind them, so he asks her to stop bothering him. Arna laughs softly and says that Leung's excuse is quite weak. The protagonist asks what Arna said. Arna says it's nothing, it's just that the hot chocolate is delicious. She will come to the store another time to drink the hot chocolate that Lejun prepared for her. Lejun just hopes she doesn't come again. Arna hopes to see him again and says goodbye. Her presence really surprised him. Why did his Nuna suddenly appear in the store? He thought he would never see her again in his life. At that moment, under the snow, what happened that made them separate occurred. After being abandoned, things between them were never the same. But this is just a memory of the past. The truth is, it's annoying to keep thinking about it. He just hopes they can receive around 200 delivery orders quickly to stop thinking about it. If he works hard for a while, he won't be able to think about anything. And after work, midnight arrives. Now we are at the train tracks. John's face was completely exhausted. They say that words become seeds. He never thought that, after saying that, orders would really start coming in like crazy. He thought he was gonna die from being so busy. There really wasn't time to think about anything. Maybe it's because it's the festival season, and that's why there are so many group orders today. When he gets home, he'll take a quick shower and go to bed so he can get up early and do his chores. Suddenly, he hears the sound of a camera. Shin-hye arrives at the station. She was taking some photos of Lejun with her phone. He asks her what she's doing. Why is she suddenly taking a picture of him? Shin-hye tells him that she simply took a photo of Mr. Lejun because he seemed to have a certain vibe. She shows him the photo for him to take a look. Leo tells Shin-hye that she is good at taking photos. Now that Shin-hye remembers, she asks Lee Jung to please give her his cell phone. Lee Jung doesn't mind giving her his phone, but he wants to know why. Shin-hye asks him to just give it to her for a moment. She has something to show him. She doesn't want him to worry about pretending not to know anything about the sexy women he has saved in Lee Jung's photo album. Our protagonist tells her that he doesn't save that kind of stuff in his photo album. Then Shin-hyun can take a look. Lee Ka-jun apologizes, which means he does have something perverted saved in his gallery. Shin-hyun laughs when she hears this. In any case, she will change the camera settings on this phone in this way and that way. Now that she has configured it, she asks Lejun to look at the camera. The gesture shooting setting of the rear camera will take the photo automatically. They both take a photo together. It seems it turned out well. Lejong, seeing the photo, mentions that it looks quite good. From now on, when Li Zhang sends her night photos, he must send them in this way, because that way the photos will turn out better. She doesn't want him to send her a similar photo like the previous time, because it came out strangely. Li Zhang asks her if he looked weird. Shinji replies that yes, he looked quite weird. If his face is at the edge of the screen, it will be distorted like a steamed bun due to the coverage of the camera lens. The image quality of the front camera is worse than that of the rear camera. Li Jin understands. There's always a principle behind good photos. So if he takes a photo like this and sends it to Shanghai, will she save it on her phone? She replies that yes, she will save it in her phone's memory. Didn't Li Young save the photo she sent him? Li Young replies that he actually did save it. She becomes happy when she hears this. It seems that after all, he did have a photo of a sexy girl in his gallery. Li Young doesn't understand why she says this. The protagonist, upon arriving at her apartment, sends her photo to Shinhai and tells her that she arrived home. Shinhai also sends him her photo and says that it's a good photo. Does she say that because he previously looked like a steamed bun? Sinha laughs and wishes him good night. Li Yoon is in bed. He becomes happy when he reads her message. He comments that she is quite cute. He should save this photo too. At first, he was just trying to reassure Shinhye with the photos, but it seems this is funny in the end. If he looks at the photos after taking one together, it will be a good memory. Checking his gallery, he realizes that he still has a photo that he had taken with Arna years ago. He thought he had backed it up and deleted all his photos at that time, but some remained in another folder. He starts to think a bit. He remembers the image of Arna in his head when he saw her in the cafe. Actually, when he saw Arna today in the cafe, he was really surprised, but he didn't feel anything else. He simply hated her as soon as he saw her face. He remembered all the fun moments he had with her. The past he wanted to forget invaded the present he wanted to avoid remembering. The smell of cigarette smoke and the sweet aroma of hot chocolate disguised as beautiful memories. Right now, he wants to have a drink to forget the past, and deletes the photo he had with Arna. Hi, we see a little Yeon introducing himself to the screen right now. He is 8 years old. His dream is to be an astronaut or an architect like his father. His favorite snack is the one his mom prepares. Now we meet his 13-year-old self. He is currently living with his father. His dream is to be a professional basketball player, but now that he's trying it, he doesn't think he has the talent for it since he's only 1.70 meters tall. Now we see his 15-year-old self. He is in his second year of high school. He doesn't say a single word. Now we meet his 18-year-old self. His current goal is to go to a university in the metropolitan area, and he is preparing well for it. When asked about his dream, he mentions that his dream is simply to get into a good company and earn a lot of money. Or maybe it was difficult for his father to raise him alone. He just wants to be independent soon, so he can let his father rest. He asks the cameraman to edit what he just said because otherwise his father would worry a lot about his trivial words. Maybe she starts scolding him for saying that and perhaps tells him to stay with her. What we were watching was a movie about Le Jung's life. He had fallen asleep in the middle of the movie. Arna approaches him and asks him to wake up. The movie is over. Le Jung tells her that last night he stayed up all night working on his assignment. He fell asleep for a while. Was the movie fun? Arna says it was quite funny. When she checks the time, she tells Le Jung that her major class time has already passed. Upon hearing this, the protagonist asks what they should do then. Arna extends her hand. It's quite obvious what they're going to do, and they hurry so they won't be late. Light of a stage illuminates them both. Arna tells Le Jung something. Once there was a movie where it took 12 years to complete filming because they were filming the child actors until they grew up as adults. The protagonist is stunned when he hears this. It seemed crazy to him. Arna says it was a movie about a boy's life. Her life also seems boring, but she wishes that for some people it was just a movie. But for Leung, being next to Arna is like being in a movie. She tells Lejun to look over there. That bald assistant is walking around picking his nose again today. This amuses the protagonist. That guy always plays with his boogers. Arna tells him to look at that car. That's the professor's car. And it's covered in bird droppings. It seems the bird got angry seeing the exam content. They both enjoyed running through the streets. Amidst all that, Lee-young sees a restaurant table in such a place. Arna says that's perfect. She asks if he wants to eat first. Lee-jun says that place looks quite expensive. Arne tells him not to worry, she as his Nuna will treat him to the food first. The dish he's going to eat is a dish whose flavor is unknown, but anyway, it's incredibly expensive. Lee-jun had never eaten anything like it. The next thing is a collection of his favorite movies. The dinosaur movie is a bit unexpected. Arna chose it because she likes the scene where people die. That sounds quite crude. The last dish is cigarettes and cold medicine. This tastes a bit bitter to Leon. Arna, dressed as a chef, asks him if he liked the food. Our protagonist says yes, he has no idea what it tastes like, but it's delicious. When he was a child, his father was always busy, so he only studied, but thanks to Arna, he can see a new world. Arna is happy when she hears this. Now it's time to pay the bill. She's supposed to do the calculations. When he checks the receipt, he sees that it contains a message. If you forget everything and pretend none of this happened, the food is free. Suddenly, the lights go out and Arna disappears. Leon, not understanding the situation, wonders why the lights went out so suddenly. Also, where's Arna? He starts calling her, shouting throughout the city for Arna to answer him. He asks himself why she left him alone. He only knows that now he has no one. But a light illuminates the streets. Shin-hye, holding onto the balloon of her animated character, appears in front of Lee Jong. Our protagonist asks what that is. Is it an alien, or maybe it's Shin-hye? But what's with those snail antennas? Shin-hye asks him if he's gonna keep standing there. She asks him to grab her hand quickly because soon this world will disappear. But this was nothing more than a simple dream. He had fallen asleep while studying. What was that dream he just had? It was a very strange dream. If he's going to dream, he'd rather play the lottery so that at least he can know the numbers. Chapter number 26. A person who likes new experiences. After finishing his work shift at the cafe, he tells his boss that he's leaving first, but before he goes, she asks him to take this. She throws him a bag with some things inside. He asks what it is. Boss Hoyo tells him that the whiskey bar manager gave these alcoholic chocolates. It would be good if he shared them with Shin-hye when he sees her. They are expensive, so he's giving them away to the workers. Maybe if he and Shin-hye eat them, they'll be encouraged to do something mischievous tonight. Lee-jun asks her not to be ridiculous. Our protagonist arrives at the train tracks. It's been a long time since he ate alcoholic chocolates. The last time he ate one was when he was a child in his father's room. While walking, he sees Shin-hye sitting on the flame. He asks her what she was listening to. She says she was just listening to a playlist she made. Sometimes she does things like that when she's bored, something like a DJ. Shin-hye replies that it's something like that, but now that they're both here, she asks Shin-hye if she would like to try this. It's alcoholic chocolate. She didn't know something like that existed. It's a chocolate with alcohol flavor. Lee-jun asks if she has never tried it. As our protagonist should know, she's not very interested in chocolate. Now that Lee-jun remembers, he knows that's true. She said she didn't like sweets, so she won't like this either. It's quite a sweet chocolate. Shijin doesn't want to see him with that face, so she takes it from his hand and eats the chocolate. It has a strange flavor. She can smell the alcohol flavor. Lee-jun tells her that it really has alcohol, around 1%, so she will get drunk if she eats one more. Lee-jun says it's not that bad, it's like an appetizer to drink with. So it's perfect to give to someone you want to drink with, isn't it? Or is he wrong? Lee-jun gets a little nervous and asks if she wants another one. Shihai asks him what's wrong with him. He's being bold now. Anyway, she thanks him. She doesn't like sweets, so she hardly knew such a thing existed. She thanks him for being pervy. Lee-jun laughs, he's glad she liked it. But it's not coffee she's drinking. Is it okay to drink that at this time of night? If she continues drinking coffee, she won't be able to sleep. Lee-jong tells her that he has an assignment due the day after tomorrow. He will try to finish it tonight without sleeping since he doesn't have classes tomorrow. The next train is about to arrive. Shijie asks him not to overwork himself too much. Lee-jung says this happens all the time, so it's normal for him. Upon arriving home, he starts finishing his assignment, writing on his laptop. He gives a big yawn. It's almost 5 in the morning. For some reason, his eyes keep closing. He can't do it right now. He'll have to take a short break to catch up on sleep since he's about to finish. But now that he checks his Instagram, Long Afternoon's playlist for today is ready. It's been a while since they stopped doing this, but it seems He's doing it again today. There were some really great hidden gems on this list. He will listen to this while finishing his assignment. But will it be possible to finish the assignment while playing the music? We continue with our protagonist's dream. What did he mean by the world coming to an end? Where are they supposed to go? Shihan thinks about it and asks, what about Liverpool? It's the place of the Beatles, or Manchester, the birthplace of Ashes. Leon tells her that both are in the United Kingdom. It seems she's just a fan of British music. She doesn't really care where they go as long as they are together, or wherever they are. It will be a completely new world, since they will both be alone in that place and there will be no one else to interrupt them. Our protagonist wakes up after having that quite strange dream. His face was completely red. Is he dreaming that again? It's not the first time this has happened to him. Those damn dreams won't let him sleep peacefully, and it's all because of the alcoholic chocolate. The next day at the cafe, Arna enters the shop. The boss, OYU, welcomes her. Leon gets annoyed when he sees Arna. He told her not to come, but she came anyway. Arna will order a cup of hot chocolate and a cake. The boss, OYU, wants to know if she'll order anything else. Arna replies yes, she'll have her cup of chocolate here, and then leave. So the boss, OYU, will let her know when it's ready. The boss tells Lejeune to prepare a cup of hot chocolate. While preparing the cup, Lejeune wonders why Arna's here again. It's starting to annoy him, but when he sees her, he thinks maybe it's his fault she came to this cafe again, but it doesn't matter, he shouldn't worry about it right now. If he thinks deeply, the possibilities are endless. Bad customer number 11, your hot chocolate and cake are ready. Hope you enjoy it. Arna. When she receives her tray, she wants to ask the protagonist something. What time is this place open? Lejeune tells her that the shop is open until 11:30 and the last drink order ends at 11. Arna, having understood this, leaves for a moment. Lejeune thought Arna would pretend to know him, but she didn't say anything else. Could it be that she only came for hot chocolate? The next day, Arna returns to the cafe. The boss, OYU, welcomes her again. Arna has returned again. Arna asks for a cup of chocolate and an egg tart. The boss, OYU, asks if she wants an extra this time. Arna replies, of course. Layton wonders why Arna has returned again, but that doesn't matter. Maybe she just came by this place. The next day, Arna returns to the cafe as usual. It seems she has become a regular customer. This time, she wants a cup of chocolate with cheesecake, but besides that, she asks the boss, OYU, if she has a stamp card or something similar. The boss replies, yes, Arna can get a free Americano if she stamps it 10 times. Arna asks if it's only an Americano. OYU tells her it doesn't have to be just that. Respectively, Arna can exchange it for any other drink for the price difference. So Arna wants a stamp card made for her. The boss, OYU, agrees to Arna's order. Arna finds it a bit interesting that some people don't ask for a stamp card or anything like that. That is, nobody cares about stamps and such things. Some prefer it through an app nowadays. Lejeune tells Arna it's just her taste, a collection of memories from everywhere. Arna prefers tangible memories over digital ones. She also likes movies and mostly buys Blu-rays. By the way, the boss OYU asks if he knows Arna. Leo tells OYU Arna was his Nuna in college. She graduated before him when he was taking his admission exam, but those are things of the past. The boss OYU felt curious about what Lejeune said a moment ago. So he's pretending he doesn't know Arna? His boss can understand that he's working and can't talk to the customers, but isn't that too harsh? Lejeune tells OYU it's fine. After all, both of them aren't that close. He really has nothing to talk about with Arna. He tells the customer to enjoy their meal. In any case, Lejeune doesn't seem to remember Arna's tastes. I know our protagonist is bad at lying. He said they weren't that close, but he remembers everything Arna likes. OYU doesn't want to be nosy, since everyone has a past, and not just anyone can talk about it. Besides, it's fun to watch a story rather than just hear it. This seems to be another youth drama on the side, from what OYU sees. When 11 p.m. arrives, Lejeune tells his boss that he'll be leaving first. OYU thanks him for his hard work and hopes he has a safe journey home. As Lejeune walks through the streets, he mentions that he's sent in his application for summer internships. Now he just has to wait for final exams. As he prepares for full-time employment, he's very busy. He only has a few classes, but there's so much homework. Now that he thinks about it, he wonders why his Nuna, Arna, keeps showing up at the shop. This is driving him crazy, but her presence makes it even stranger. But he can't chat at the shop, since he's only a part-time employee. When he reaches the train tracks, he finds Shennai sleeping on the bench, tilting her head from side to side. He'd never seen her so sleepy. Is she tired today? Shennai opens her eyes and realizes that Mr. Lejun is here. Our protagonist asks her if she's tired today. Shennai tells him she forgot she had a recording scheduled this morning and worked all night. She also has part-time work writing songs and doing this and that, so that's why she's so sleepy. So why doesn't Shennai lie down and get some sleep until the train arrives? Lashun's gonna wake her up when it gets here, so she will. Suddenly, Shennai lies down on Lejun's chest. She asks him to hold her shoulder so she doesn't sway. Lejun's idea was for her to lean against the wall, but it seems she understood it this way. He takes her shoulder so she can lie on his chest. Shennai's shoulders are very thin and soft. Her hair also smells so good. It's very pleasant. In the midst of all the hustle and bustle of everyday life, he loves this brief moment with Shennai. He wants to escape with her and forget everything, as if there were no work, no study, nothing else. He just wants to hang out with Shennai all day. In that brief moment, Shennai wakes up. Leo asks her why she woke up. She looks into his eyes. Lejun wants to know what's wrong. With a smile, Shennai tells him that his nose is touching the back of her head and tickling her. Lejun, a bit nervous, apologizes for that. Does Arna want to know what kind of shampoo the protagonist uses? He replies, no, it's fine. He leaves the train tracks. When he arrives at the last station, he's very tired. When he gets home, he'll take a bath and go to bed. But before he goes to bed, he has to remember to send a photo of himself to Shennai so she knows he got home safely for the day. He'll take a cool photo outside on the street since it's boring to take photos at home all the time. In the middle of that, he suddenly receives a call. The number calling him was unknown. Did his dad change his number? Anyway, he answers the call. A female voice on the other end of the line is surprised to learn that he hasn't changed his number yet. Our protagonist recognizes this woman's voice. It turns out the person behind the call was Arna. She didn't even say a few words, but he recognized her instantly. Now he'll stop pretending he doesn't know Arna. Leon didn't know how to respond. He asks Arna why she's calling him from this number. Did she change her phone? Arna asks him if this surprises him. She changed her number a long time ago, or didn't he know? She and he haven't talked in a long time, so why did she call him? Arna replies that she was just going to sleep, but suddenly she remembered Leon, so she called him. Didn't Leon think about her for at least a moment? Our protagonist, knowing she's just playing with him, would hang up the call, but Arna asks him not to hang up. Why is he so cold to her? When our protagonist was working at the cafe, he also didn't want to talk to her. That's really too much to act like that. Leo knows she's right, but the case here is why Arna keeps coming to the cafe and what she needs from him. Arna tells him she doesn't need anything. She just passes by that shop often. It's near her work. And it's not like she leaves work in the afternoon. She can do the rest of her work while in that place. But besides that, would he have a special reason not to come? Lejeune feels like Arna's pulling him into her conversation again, but he won't be dragged in that easily. He tells Arna that it's just a bit uncomfortable. It bothers him when he meets someone at work. It feels like he's being watched. Arna runs her hand through her hair, thinking about how to respond to what he said. After a moment of silence, she asks Lejung if he's in love with someone. This question was sudden for the protagonist. Arna, realizing how Lejung remains silent, assumes the answer is yes. Lejung's reactions are always so honest, and that's fun for Arna. Anyway, if that's the case, he shouldn't worry. She doesn't expect anything from him when she sees him. At this point, she doesn't finish the sentence. Arna changes the subject, asking him if he remembers that 24-hour cafe they used to go to. Both of them used to stay up all night sometimes. They always went there to do homework. They also drank and sat waiting for the first car. Lejung would stay with Arna when she didn't want to go home. Lejung, keeping his composure, tells Arna that he doesn't remember. Did they ever do that? Arna remembers everything. The jazz music playing in that cafe and the dirty bathrooms, because that was the most fun she's ever had. Seriously, Lejung doesn't remember any of that? Both of them went to see Bong Joon-ho's movie after leaving the lecture. That movie was a bit naughty. Leo replies that, to be honest, he does remember everything Arna said, but he doesn't have any special feelings about it. They're just stories to him, so no matter how much Arna says it, nothing will change. Arna understands completely. She's finished remembering things from the past. She won't call Lejung again at this hour of the morning. It doesn't matter if she keeps going to that cafe instead of calling. It's not an excuse. She just really likes that cafe. Lejun tells Arna she can do whatever she wants. After all, he's not the owner of the cafe. Arna can't give him orders. Besides, if he gets a full-time job, he'll be the first to leave. He tells Arna he's going to hang up the call. Arna asks Lejun to wait a moment. The protagonist asks Arna what she wants this time. Arna tells him she just wanted him to know that she's moving out of her parents' house. That's all she was going to tell him. Her house is only 2 subway stops from her work. If Lejun gets bored, he can come visit her. Arna asks him if he agrees, but our protagonist's expression shows us that he doesn't. What reason would there be to have to go? Lejun doesn't understand what's wrong with Arna. How dare she call him at this hour of the morning and talk about the old days? Does she still believe he's still following her? He starts to think about whether or not to block Arna's new number. It's a decision that could take time. If he blocked her and never heard from her again, it might do something to his personality. If Arna comes to the cafe because it's near his school or work, he'll just keep his distance. He'll stay away from her. If he doesn't pay attention to her, she'll get tired. Arna is an impatient person. Suddenly, he receives a message. He checks it and is happy to learn it was a message from Shennai. She asks him if he has arrived home yet. She sends him a picture of her face. It's a facial mask to treat her skin. Lejun wonders what's wrong with that mask. Is it a bear or a raccoon? It looks funny. Shennai is an adult on the outside, but she looks childish on the inside. If she's just so cute, he'll have to take a photo and send it to her soon. For now, he wants things to stay as they are. Memories are growing, and special moments are accumulating day by day. When the time comes, everyone will be in their place. That's for sure. It seems he received a complaint from Shennai. Lejun's photo was backlit. Both of them will take another photo soon. The protagonist, laughing, replies that it's fine. The next day at the train tracks, while Shennai was reviewing what she had in her notebook, Lejun appears and greets her. Shennai congratulates him for working so hard today. The protagonist says the same for her. He wants to know what she was reading. Shennai says she was just reading a poetry book. She tries to get inspiration for her compositions. So does Shennai read often? Shennai replies not often, but sometimes when she has time, she reads slowly. If Shennai likes a poem, she tries to copy it. Lejun wants to take a look, and Shennai lends it to him without a problem. He takes the book and can see how she has marked all her favorite verses. She really likes poetry. Does Shennai usually read paper books like this? Lejun asks. Shennai replies no. She usually reads books electronically or borrows them from the library, and then if she likes something, she buys another paperback. There's something comforting about having it, so Shennai has about 100 poetry books at home. Shennai replies no. She only has about 4 or 5. It's not like she's Michael Jackson, so what would be the point of having so many books? But if she had money, she would. One day she would collect all her favorite records, instruments, and books and pile them up. If she had a million of her favorite things lying around, wouldn't she be truly happy? The protagonist laughs when he hears her say she wishes for a million of her favorite things, and if she died crushed under all that, it would be ridiculous. It seems Shin-hyun isn't exaggerating. She wouldn't mind, since that's better than losing something you love. When Shin-hyun utters this last sentence, painful memories come to Lejun. After thinking about it a bit, he asks Shennai if she wants to go to dinner. They could go out on his day off. What does she think? Shennai thinks about it and says with a slight smile that it's fine for her. The menu will be whatever Lejun usually likes. Leung gets excited and replies that it's fine. The next train is arriving. The next day at the cafe, Leo was humming a song while preparing a drink. His expression let us know that he was happy. Even his boss, OYU, notices this. It seems he's in a good mood today. Has his favorite musician published something on social media? Leo replies, no, not yet. He'll have a day off soon, so it's nice. Now that his boss remembers, it's true. She's been promoting new products lately, so she forgot. But putting that aside, she asks our protagonist if he has no plans that day. If he doesn't, OYU wants to go have some drinks with him. He replies that, well, he actually has a date that day. A date? Is he avoiding OYU because of what happened last time? Lejun replies no. He really has a date. There would be no reason to avoid his boss, OYU. For a moment, she thought it was because of that. Well, then she can't help it. She's been stressed for a while and has been wanting to drink. But what about Shinjo? She'll be off work that day too. Boss OYU already asked Shinjo too, but it seems she's busy these days. She's studying in the afternoon or something. OYU should go to the whiskey bar alone and chat with Mr. Don Chul. There's not much to talk about anymore. All her friends are married, so OYU feels bad for keeping him up so late. For some reason, Lejun feels bad for OYU. He tells his boss that he's going to take a break while taking out the trash. Boss OYU replies, okay. Being around the back of the shop, Lejun, in his thoughts, mentions that his boss seems unusually lonely these days because it's spring. While looking for the trash can, he runs into Arna in this place. She was smoking a cigarette, but it seems she was waiting for him. Lejun becomes alert. He tells Arna that she can't smoke here as she could set the trash on fire. Arna apologizes and puts out her cigarette. Lejun throws it in the trash without giving much importance to Arna's presence, and as he was about to go back inside, Arna stands in his way. Lejun asks Arna what she's doing. He asks her not to block his way. He's working. Arna tells him he can pass if he doesn't like her that much. The protagonist doesn't understand what Arna's talking about. He's not even joking with her. Arna pulls him by the hair from behind. Unexpectedly, this takes our protagonist by surprise. Somewhat annoyed, he asks Arna what she's doing. Has she gone crazy? Arna asks him if he hates her that much. Our protagonist doesn't understand what point Arna wants to make. Arna knows what she did was wrong. She knows she hurt him, but does he hate her so much that he can't even greet her normally? What can she do for him to forgive her and for them to be friends again? I'll do whatever you want me to do. If you want to slap me, you can. Don't you want or need anything else? Lejun doesn't understand why Arna's acting like this suddenly. So much time has passed since they last spoke, and now she wants things between them to go back to how they were before. Arna doesn't know. She herself wonders why. Lejun gets angry at her vague answer. Is Arna getting him into trouble again? She's just playing with him. Lejun asks Arna to stop doing that. He doesn't have time for her games. Arna apologizes, but Lejun's being so disrespectful to her. She wouldn't do this if he at least said hello. Lejun already told her he's working right now, but he should say hello next time, okay? Leo, in a loud tone, replies that he's busy. Upon returning to the shop, he wonders what the hell is wrong with Arna. Sometimes he thinks she's a stalker, but even so, it's not easy to disregard the person who is always close. What he hates is that Arna pushed him away that day. It's simply a wound that doesn't heal so easily. All of this weighs on him. He no longer knows what to think about. He can't wait to see Miss Shinhye. Right now, he just wants to talk about music and joke with her. He doesn't want to think about anything else. He just wants to be with her. His boss, OYU, calls our protagonist. Break time is over. On the other hand, we see Shinhye's music video with Shinhye behind the curtain. The three of them inside the studio were analyzing how the video turned out. Ina asks Shinhye what she thought of the video. They just have to put 2 credits and that's it, so if Shinhye wants to change anything, she can change it right now. Hanjae thinks it's fine. He believes the video is already complete as it is, and if so, then it will finish as is and they'll deliver it. But going back to Shinhye, Hyunjae asks her what she thinks. He specifically edited the long afternoon scene so her face wouldn't be seen. Shinhye replies that it's fine, it's a great video. Ina understands, so she'll finish it that way and leave the credits as Shinhye sent them. But inside, Ina feels happy receiving a compliment. Hyunjae asks Ina if she didn't have something to tell Shinhye. Now that Ina remembers, she still hasn't told Shinhye. Ina asks Shinhye if she would like to see this. It's a team of independent artists Ina runs called Osing. The brochure is a list of the artists on the team. It's not a big team, but they have many different artists working together, including independent musicians, animators, 3D artists, etc. Anyway, recently someone suggested Long Afternoon, and everyone listened to it and talked about it and thought, what if we make a music video for one of Long Afternoon's songs? A music video is quite expensive to make, isn't it? Shinhye asks. Ina replies, no, it's not expensive at all, but the video can be a bit experimental and a bit avant-garde. Ina's creating her own video based on Long Afternoon's music. It's a kind of collaboration between independent artists. When the video comes out, they will promote the team, and Long Afternoon will promote their music. Nowadays, you can make a short film without a video source, right? And to be honest, Long Afternoon's music is incredible. It seems Ina got quite emotional and confessed what she had been keeping inside. Anyway, Shinhye can take a look at the brochure and get in touch. But Ina should also keep this in mind. Ina cannot tell anyone that they are doing it for free, because once word gets out, they'll have a bunch of bastards asking for it for free. Shinhye replies that she'll think about it. That's all for today's meeting, right? Hyunjae replies yes, he thanks Shinhye for waking up early. Now Shinhye's gonna work, isn't she? Shinhye replies yes, but putting that aside, Hyunjae asks Shinhye if she's busy tonight. If she's free, He was wondering if they could meet for dinner. He has some things he wants to talk to her about. What does she think? Shennai firmly replies, no, she can't today. She has a commitment and doesn't want to cancel it. She'll see Hyunjae another time and says goodbye. For Hyunjae, that wasn't easy. He thought he could casually flirt with her today. Ina calls Hyunjae a bastard. Is he trying to flirt with her favorite girl? She tells him to leave. He has such an impure mind. Hyunjae tells Ina there's nothing wrong with a man flirting with a woman. And it's not even what Ina thinks. It's just that he's trying to attract Long Afternoon to his music label. He thought Shinhye would be interested in his production skills right now, since not many have English translations. Maybe he'll go have a drink alone. Lejun arrives at the meeting point with a change of clothes. It's 6:10 p.m. There's still time. He left earlier than expected for no reason. It's okay to take his time since he's come to a place they both know. But he wonders if he should have stayed a little longer at the library and then left. Will Shinhye be okay? Will her head hurt? He scratches his hair to think a bit. He's a little nervous. He meets Shinhye often. He thought it wouldn't matter since they had been living together. Now that they have set a date and are meeting, it feels completely different. Will his nose hairs be okay? Hopefully, nothing is sticking out. Shinhye asks him what he's doing. Our protagonist is surprised when he sees her. She did leave early. Her uncle told her to take care of the studio until 9, so she had some free time and left earlier than expected. She approaches Lejong. She tells him not to worry. His nose hairs aren't sticking out or anything. So that's how it is. This amuses Lejong. So it's time for them to go at once. He's quite hungry. But where are they going today? A restaurant that only Lejong knows? Or a normal dinner? Our protagonist asks Shinhye if she's good with spicy food. He asks this because first they would go to a place that sells spicy food. One of the dishes will be hellfire-flavored stew. Leo tells her that this place is famous for its delicious junk food. Not only is it delicious, but it's also fun because you can challenge yourself with different levels of spiciness. Shinhye asks Lejong if he's good with spicy food. He replies that he doesn't eat much spicy food, just a little. If Shinhye isn't good with spicy food, she can eat the basic level of the 4 levels. He could eat up to level 3. Shinhye is surprised when she hears him say this. It seems he really likes spicy food. Shinhye calls the waiter. She wants to order a level 6 spicy dish. Shinhye just said level 6, but there are only supposed to be 4 levels on this menu. Shinhye tells him that there are 8 secret levels for spicy food lovers. When she came here before, she tried to challenge herself up to level 7, but at that moment, she thought she was going to die because it was so spicy. Anyway, it's very spicy, so if Lejun wishes, he can eat the mild level. So Shinhye knew this shop just for today. Shinhye will eat something light up to level 6. If Shinhye orders level 6, then he's also going to eat the level 6 dish. Shinhye asks him if he's serious. He doesn't need to try so hard, but since they've come together, he prefers to eat the same as her. That way he'll feel like they're eating together. This makes Shin happy. So it was 2 level 6 jambon dishes with spicy honey. After a few minutes, 2 dishes of level 6 spicy jambon are delivered to them. Hope they enjoy it. How is he supposed to enjoy such a spicy dish? Could it even be considered food? Shinhye asks him if he'll be okay with that. Lejun replies yes. Well, how spicy can it be? When it reaches a certain level, all the spiciness must be the same as the previous ones. But taking a first bite, he feels his mouth burning. Shinhye wants to know if he's okay. Oh, he has to start drinking the broth to get used to it. He wants more broth to make it less spicy. It doesn't seem like Lejun can handle the noodles. Our protagonist insists he'll keep eating. If it's at its spicy point, it's delicious. After finishing the noodles, both of them leave the restaurant. But Lejun didn't look good. Shinhye asks him if he's okay. He replies yes, he's fine. It's just that he has a burst lip, a pulled spine, and numb hands and feet from the acidity. So you're not okay. That's why I told you not to push yourself. He couldn't even finish the food. And what about Shinhye? Shinhye replies that she's a fan of spicy food, so Lejun has lost against her. Shinhye tells him not to compete with that. Lejun curses himself. He chose that restaurant to have a fun, relaxed conversation, but they haven't been able to talk, and he's only said spicy over and over again. It's been a total disaster. Shinhye asks him if he doesn't have to go home right now. Lejun replies no, he has nothing to do today, so he wants to go somewhere to rest. Where will they go to rest? Shinhye knows a good place. A place where they can relax and rest comfortably. She wants him to follow her. She will show him. He replies that it's fine to rest a bit. Where are they supposed to go? If it were a nearby place to rest, maybe it would be a motel, but obviously that's not it. Who knows? There are many possibilities. Even the protagonist is imagining it. That couldn't be possible. Both go to a bar where some anonymous band singers were performing. The singer who finished belonged to the band The Beggars and the Sinners. When Shinhye said they would rest a bit, it was to go to a bar with live music. Shinhye replies, yes, here on weekdays there's an open mic, so you just have to pay for the drink and you can watch the show for free. You can sit first, I'll bring a beer. Lejun calls himself a fool. He's a little disappointed for imagining silly things. If he thinks about it, it makes no sense to suddenly go to a place like a motel. That would be silly. But by the way, he didn't know there was such a place so close to the university. He has passed by here almost every day and hadn't noticed. Shinhye hands him a bottle of beer. She asks him if he's okay inside. He replies yes, although he feels worried about how he'll be tomorrow morning. Shinhye tells him just not to die. Someone goes up on stage. She introduces herself as part of the group Peter Squid Butterfly. Today is the second performance in her life. That's why she might forget the lyrics and the rhythm might be a bit irregular, but at least she wishes the audience would smile and enjoy the music. So the first song is called As Before. Both listen to the girls sing while drinking some beers. Lejun feels the sticky tables, shoddy orange lights, harsh speaker sound, an audience listening in silence, an indie musician's concert. Everything is a new and unknown landscape. Shinhye has lived in this world that not even Lejun knows. When he's with her, he's very curious. In a low voice, he calls out to Shinhye, saying this place is amazing, and takes another drink from his beer bottle without another word. Shinhye also approaches him and speaks softly. She really likes the atmosphere too. The tension was palpable. Shinhye's words could be understood in another way. Now, they move on to the next song. The next song is the well-known Doesn't Freeze in a Black Skirt. Suddenly, we get a small flashback from our protagonist. Here, we hear Arna asking Lejung if he thinks she's already played with him. You only wanted me for your own pleasure. We spent a lot of time together, we have the same tastes, but that doesn't mean I have to love you. Love isn't the same as empathy. It doesn't mean she is too. Returning to the present, the song says the following. Love can change over time, but I need someone who waits and whose love doesn't change. Lejung understands that even if they've had the same tastes and spent a lot of time together, it doesn't mean that person has to love him. Empathy and love are different, but just for today, he's thought that he'd like that kind of love to exist. The girl on stage finishes the song and thanks her audience for listening. They can follow her on Instagram and come to the next performance. Both Shinhye and Lejun applaud. Shinhye tells Lejun to get up so they can leave. For our protagonist, that was too soon. There's still one more band to go on stage. Shinhye lets him know it's almost 9 and she has to go back to the music studio. Or does Lejung want to stay and see more? Our protagonist replies no. If she leaves, then he'll go with her too. They both leave the bar. Lejung comments that this place is really nice. He wishes a place like this existed when he was in university. Shinhye tells him that if you come on weekends, sometimes famous bands play, and they also have rock DJ parties until dawn, mixing other genres. So the next time we meet up for fun, we'll stay up really late, and then leave. What do you think? He replies, that sounds great. A convenience store catches his attention. He asks Shinhye if she'd like to get some ice cream. He has no problem with that, but he won't keep Shinhye out too late. She tells him she'll eat it fast so they don't lose much time. So Lejun goes for the ice cream. He asks Shinhye what she wants to eat. She replies, anything. She'll leave it all up to our protagonist. Lejun enters the store. He buys her a refreshing lemon ice cream. She thanks him. Both eat ice cream while sitting outside the store. In that moment, Leo asks Shinhye if there are many clients booked at the music studio today. To which she replies, yes, it's fully booked until the last minute. These days, a lot of band clubs are coming because it's university festival season. So I've been a bit busy. Our protagonist, hearing about university parties, mentions that he'll also have a festival at his university soon. It was originally supposed to be in early May, but it was postponed for some reason or something. Now that Shinhye remembers, Lejun belongs to H University. She mentions this because there are some students from that university who are practicing in her music studio. Lejun, knowing this, asks her how good those guys' skills are. Shinhye tells him that bands that are part of a club aren't strictly evaluated. Music is for fun. He continues eating ice cream, but now that Lejun thinks about it, he asks Shinhye why she decided to go out to eat with him. She doesn't understand why he's asking this. If our protagonist was the one who suggested they go out to eat. It's just that was a bit unexpected, you know? I'd never experienced him inviting me to eat, making a plan, and meeting up separately. More or less, Shinhye understands what he's saying, but how dare he say that after we've already done everything, like having some drinks while celebrating a music festival, and many more things. Our protagonist replies that, I apologize, I was just talking nonsense. He's already aware of what they've both done. There's nothing more to confirm. He simply can't believe it. He's next to a cheerful person who doesn't mind dying for the things she likes, a wonderful person who never gives up on her dreams, someone who likes the same things he does. The fact that she's by his side makes him keep asking himself questions, because the only thing he needs is her consent. Shinhye found the ice cream delicious. This is the first time she's eaten it today. It seems that Mr. Lee Jung and I have similar tastes when it comes to food. I also like spicy food. Our protagonist replies, that's for sure. He slowly approaches her, and in an unexpected act, he kisses her. It's very curious that she didn't reject him. She accepted it without any displeasure. Both remained silent for a moment. Their first kiss felt cold and soft, with a lemon flavor. Shinhye gets up and asks him if he's finished. The booking team will be at the music studio soon. She has to go get ready. Our protagonist understands. Then we'll go at once. Both walk, but the silence was very awkward. Shinhye's pace is faster than before. This way, he can't tell what she's thinking. Anyway, this crazy guy named Lee Jung acts impulsively according to his mood. He's acting in a way that will make others hate him. Shinhye asks him if they're going in opposite directions. Our protagonist replies yes. If so, then goodbye. I have to go this way. Lee Jun understands. He had fun today. But before she leaves, about that thing from before. Shinhye approaches Lee Jun for a moment, places her fist against his stomach. Next time, we'll talk more, because I don't have time now. Lee Jun understands. Next time, they'll talk more extensively. Having said this, Shinhye leaves. Our protagonist wishes her good luck. That means next time, they'll see each other again and have a date. That simply excites and surprises him quite a bit, honestly. For our protagonist, it was fine. Already at the music studio, Shinhye takes a seat, but she's somewhat uncomfortable. Her face is completely red. She gave our protagonist some time because he seemed to have something to say. Who would have thought he would suddenly kiss her? Did he plan to do that from the beginning? She let her guard down without even realizing it. She doesn't know. She can't think of anything because of that bastard. He's really driving her crazy. She still feels as if something is bubbling inside her. The first team appears to book the studio. They are the H University Club. They want to enter room C. Shinhye tells them that if they need more microphones or cables, she wants them to let her know. She can't let everyone see what her face looks like. She has to wear a mask. If someone else saw her expression right now, it would seem like it's no joke. Shinhye starts drawing on her tablet, but she can't draw. She just wants to go home fast, wash, and change her clothes. With this current situation, she feels so uncomfortable that she doesn't think she can do anything. She herself doesn't understand what's happening to her. That bastard Lee Jung is annoying. Meanwhile, our protagonist was lying on the bed. He still remembers the feeling of the cold, soft, lemon-flavored kiss. That's probably something he'll never forget for the rest of his life. Today, the moon is shining very brightly. Is this something he felt for the first time? The feeling of consent. Meanwhile, at the whiskey bar, both Hyunjae and OYU had met by chance, but both pretended not to know each other. Hyunjae, seeing her in this place, thinks that it seems like it's her day off. She'll get annoyed if he pretends to know her. OYU, for her part, realizes that her regular customer is here. If she pretends to know him on the street, he surely won't like it. In the cafeteria, Lejean was playing a song by Milmolso Sok from his favorite band. Shinjo asks him if something good has happened to him, why he is so happy and singing after coming to work. Leo replies that maybe something good happened to him. Maybe it's because of the good weather, perhaps. Shinjo has some suspicions, but why didn't Lejean go home yet? Shinjo says that the boss has asked him to keep an eye on him for 5 minutes because he has to go buy milk. But now that you think about it, how is it going with the girl you told him about earlier? Lejean replies that more or less. Shinjo tells him that if by any chance it doesn't go well, just tell her. She will imitate a glass as a consolation. Lejeune, not understanding Shinjo's intentions, asks her why it should be her. Seriously, Shinjo asks. It's obvious that Shinjo's interested. Did Lejeune say Shinjo's interested in him? Shinjo replies that, of course I'm interested in you, but that doesn't mean I like you. She just wants to talk to him more, so he doesn't have to feel uncomfortable. Lejeune replies that he doesn't care. Why are you interested in it? They've barely spoken. No matter how much he doesn't care, how can Shinjo ask him that so directly? That hurts him a little. It's not for anything special, so there's no need to hide it. First of all, it caught Shinjo's attention because the protagonist was so high. When Shinjo was studying, she saw Lejeune silently picking up the tissues that had fallen on the floor and thought, what a responsible person. So she wanted to talk to him, that's all. Shinjo replies yes. Why the question? Is it strange? Our protagonist didn't know what to answer. A customer wants to order an order. Leona in her head says that it is not strange. That surprised him a little because Lejeune was no different from Shinjo. The reason he became interested in Shinhei was simply because they often saw each other when they took the last train. From what happened last time, Lejeune thought that Shinjo took her feelings with a grain of salt, but perhaps Shinjo was only sincere when she expressed herself. Shinjo asks Lejeune why he looks at her so much. The protagonist replies that it's nothing. It's just that Shinjo can find someone good. It's just his opinion. Shinjo's a good person too. Isn't that too blunt a statement? Lejeune didn't buy Shinjo a drink today, so Lejeune asked Shinjo not to put up so many barriers. You should not let your guard down. Even if everything is going well now with the girl he likes, who knows if they will end up going out together? And if she rejects it in a terrible way? That's all he has to say. Chief Oyu tells Shinjo that she can go home now. Oyu only hopes that they reject our protagonist. That really bothers him. Although, well, he has not yet received any response from Shinhei. He doesn't think she likes to talk on the text or on the phone. If he can't meet her tonight either, he'll have to tap her as a nightly greeting. On the other hand, the whole team celebrates the collaboration. Hanjae says that everyone has worked very hard. Today, the white hair invites them to party, so they can watch as much as they want. Shinhei asks if the release date of the collaboration has been set yet. Hyunjae replies that it is coming out on June 27th. On the 20th, they will post a video, teaser, so Shinhei can also post the news on Instagram. Shinhei knows that there is still a long time until June 27th. It's a bit of a lazy excuse to meet. Now that Hyunjae remembers it, the album cover is already there. He asks Shinhei if she wants to see it. This is the new cover. Kihan mentions that it looks amazing. It has been very similar to what Shinhei draws. She also mentions that Shinhei looks amazing. Kihan has captured Ukin's characteristics very well and has drawn him very well. It looks great. It's funny to see Ukin drawn by someone else. Hyunjae, out of curiosity, asks Kihan what he is doing lately. Are you working on any songs? Kihan answers yes. He has a lot of mock-ups piled up, so he's going to pick one and finish it. He'll probably record it next week. Kihan feels very hardworking. Hyunjae just finished a collaboration and is just thinking about resting. Kihan asks Hyunjae not to lie. Lately, Hyunjae has been very busy with events, such as the university festival. It seems that they have discovered him. He wanted to pretend he was a lazy musician. The truth is that he is very busy. He has a lot of small gigs, and he also has to manage the company. Lately, he has been commissioned to produce a soundtrack for a series. In addition, he is going to launch his own record label. Shinhei, when she hears this, asks if Hyunjae is finally going to release what he told her a long time ago. Hyunjae replies that of course, for now it will be his personal record label. He's still thinking about the artist he's going to hire. Kihan proposes to use his band called Idiot. Hyunjae replies that that team already has a record label. He already has a record label called Watermill Lun Sounds. He knows they're a good team, so he's figured it out. Since they are already working on it, Hyunjae would like to hire artists who are looking for new and interesting things, so he will have the feeling that this company has been worth starting. Jinya calls Hyunjae, asks if he wants to go smoke for a moment. Hyunjae replies that okay. Kihan wants to go, but Jinya tells him no. If Kihan goes, the atmosphere of the party is spoiled. Both go outside. Hyunjae asks Jinya why he gets on. He doesn't like Hyunjae's record label. Jinya replies that he hasn't said anything yet. Hyunjae already knows that Jinya doesn't smoke and has brought him here on purpose. Jinya has interrupted the conversation to prevent Hyunjae from hiring Shinhei. Jinya replies that it is not that he is opposed. It is just that he has a request. Jinya beeps to Shinhei to give Shinhei a chance on a big stage. A stage with a lot of audiences, like a festival or a solo concert that's just an opportunity, whether it's as a team member or whatever. She needs a goal. Now she underestimates herself and settles for being an unknown musician. But if she tries a big stage a few times, she'll start to have more ambition, which was to become an artist loved by a lot of people. From what Jinya says, Hyunjae also has a good opinion of Shinhye, doesn't he? Jinya replies that if he didn't give Hyunjae that impression, he wouldn't have participated in the musical project. Anyway, Jinya is satisfied with being a member of Songgo's band. Mihaja is also really fantastic music. Jinya has already heard the songs that Shinhye wants to record. When Hyunjae hears it, he will understand. This band has a good rhythm, so Jinya asks Hyunjae to open the door so that Shinhye can have ambition. Hyunjae replies that he will try, but in the end it will all depend on Shinhye. The only one who can open the door and get out is the person who has locked it. There is still a long way to go until the last train. Shinhye is wondering what she should do. The kiss on that occasion was good, but Shinhye wouldn't know what she could say about the band. M.